Hello and welcome to the Trovo Titans $10,000 closed qualifier match that we're going to be getting into very shortly here. I am your host, Austin Champion, and by my side here is Mr. Caleb Browner, going to be getting into some exciting Apex Legends as we get into it. But first, we of course have to get into what is going to be going on. But what's going on with you today, Caleb? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I have been a huge fan of Apex for quite a while. We talked before about me being a huge fan of Battle Royales in general, and this is absolutely one of the leading forces in the genre today. So I'm always happy to dig into it, especially when we have such talented players here to demonstrate really what this game can do when you push it to its limits.
Yes, with that $10,000 prize pool, there's going to be a lot of struggle and a lot of heat and pressure coming out from these teams to try to get into this waning down of the first initial 40 teams that are coming into this bracket all the way down to 20. So they're going to have to show a lot of heart to get out of that top 50% cut. But before we get into that, let's get into the format of what we will be having going on today in the broadcast. I believe that we will be doing the trio battle royale, and of course we're first beginning into what the Trovo Titans are. This is going to be a culmination of free to enter community tournaments that are going to be having a $250,000 prize pool. This is $250,000 being distributed through these over 100 events that are happening across NA, Latin America, and EU. So very exciting stuff going on. Make sure you visit trovotitans.live to get more information and see them on all their social medias. They're active on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find them at Trovo Titans at all those places. Very exciting stuff coming out from them, but the format we're running into, like we said, it will be 40 teams coming in today. They're split into two groups of 20. Each group will be playing 3 games, and the top 10 teams from each group will be advancing to the finals that we will be having at the same time tomorrow, Sunday, July 18th. So that will be the match you want to be getting into if you want a chance at this prize pool that we're getting into. You see at the bottom there, $10,000, a massive prize pool at stake here that will be distributed between the teams that are able to place. It's going to be very exciting. And looking at the teams that did qualify as we came through these brackets, there was quite a lot of noise, of course, but there was a lot of teams that made it through said noise. We see in the qualifier one that happened on Thursday, July 8th, Team Nestle was able to secure that first spot. We have XSET in second place, Bruvs taking that third spot, Team FMS in fourth, United States Army Esports taking fifth, Farm Boys in sixth, Legends Never Die in the seventh position, Conslep in 8th, and a Perfect Execution taking 9th, but not to forget Dentheads there in that 10th position, looking for that clutch.
A lot of names I'm looking forward to seeing more of out there, Austin, especially you can't ignore my boy Shmoo. Now, let me get through the whole roster, but I've mentioned before, there's some great names here for both the first and second qualifier list. So we have Elevate GG first, and then second, and through further out, we got Trovo Boys, Ellen Demons, We Don't Know, I Don't Either, Swerve, Iridescent, LND Clan, Schmoovement Squad, Trash Cans, Title of My Memoirs, and Spacelanders. Overall, we got quite the setup here.
Yeah, very nice setup indeed. We have the third set of our contestants coming out. Leave No Witness qualified first in their qualifier. CSL took the second place. 3 chicks in that third place. 3 chicks, 3 feeling lucky sitting on the double numbers. We've got Hyper Reality Visor in the 4th position. Airstream Esports ASC in the 5th spot. Dark Matter White in the 6th position. The Coercion in 7th. Glock, very to the point, in the 8th spot. Galaxy Vortex in the 9th spot, and Monk Mode 3B taking that 10th spot, getting in, making sure that they have an opportunity to get into those top 20 teams that get out of today.
Planning on returning to Monkey, and of course returning to that number 1 position I'm sure they're very well acquainted with, but we have yet another set of qualifiers to go through as well. We got CHR, Mad Dogs, Team Yes, Complexity is taken, apparently it is, US Army Academy, TSS, Ranked is Harder, Petite Soldiers, Bamboozled as always, the second title for my memoirs, and Dark Matter Black Intent.
An absolutely insane lineup that we have coming out from all of our contenders. You see that they will be battling for that total prize pool of $10,000, 10 racks. The first place will be taking home $3,250 between the 3 players. Second place, $2,250. Third place, nothing to laugh at, $1,050. Fourth, $750. are people who are able to contend in the next round through 5th through 7th, getting 600 in. 8th through 10th place, walking home with also, nothing to laugh at. $300 for doing something that they love.
That is pretty wild. I've been at tournaments in which where first place is $300, and those have been perfectly respectable tournaments. So this is a very impressive prize pool we have going on here. And just as a quick side note to mention, because it is being brought up in our very helpful chat, and is very true, complexity is taken is, of course, the team Complexity, whom you may be familiar with, and apparently the name was taken here. It's again, I appreciate the humor, and I just appreciate the roster we have here. There are some quality individuals running through here, like well-known quality, of course, but then we've also got a couple of folks that they may be sleeper hits, but trust me, they will hit given the opportunity.
This is a very explosive battle royale. Where you drop and what loot you're able to attain can lead to you knocking out a team that's just under-equipped at that stage in the game, very easily knocking off somebody who might be able to outfight you later in what may be something that you thought could be somebody who would outfight you later on. So it's nice to see how this loot system, how this battle royale that can be very explosive will turn in anybody's favor. An underdog can easily take first place, and between the 3 games we'll see come out, and between these 20 teams, there's going to be a lot of room for anybody to take that first place.
It's going to be a wild one, no doubt. We're getting a good look at the team we have here. It looks like we got a Blood Hunter, we got Octane, and we got Gibby on deck. One of our teams. Pivoting over, however, on Mad Dogs, getting themselves equipped. Leaving the witnesses we can see here. Looks like we have Octane, we have Crypto, and we have an error message, but we're flying right out of that, getting it fixed up, no doubt, quickly as possible. You can see Team Nestle here getting their adjustments made, getting their early game loot.
This team did qualify first, so they will be very comfortable being able to safely farm out these first loots that they run into. A nice drop that was a bit safe, nobody to contest, and already saw some purple armor on their tankiest character.
My goodness, off to a phenomenal start here. Getting some good Blood Hunter rep this match, which is always nice to see. We go just hunting, getting our early game setups ready. We've got ourselves a Revenant on Team U.S. Army Esports alongside. Looks to be yet another Octane. A lot of Octane rep. We've been seeing a lot of this since the now bygone days of Pathfinder dominance. Now Octane really coming in clutch for that mobility role. Poor Pathfinder. But on the other hand, it was nothing but Pathfinders at a certain point, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Octane able to press some objectives, and especially when covered by the defensive capabilities of that Revenant and the Gibraltar when things get very hairy, dropping down that zone of defense. So nice little trio that we see coming out from that comp. We still see that Pathfinder. Cannot forget that utility, even though it is a bit more nerfed with how that hitbox is going to be feeling really bulky on that big-bodied boy. Still just finds so much use out of that mobility with the Spider-Man style movement coming out from him, and honestly just an all-around good character if you just feel comfortable already playing him.
Absolutely. There's another key understanding here is just the dominance, not only players' mastery over individual characters, but the way those players, their abilities as useful as they are, and how they synergize. There's a lot to discuss just in the metagame of team dominance, of getting things mixed up. Matchup here is a firefight breaking out, demonstrates exactly that. Great coordination here by Mad Dogs, but they don't go in without taking some casualties. And this is still an all-out firefight. People are dropping here. We've got Octane outside. Getting a couple of things switched out. Trying to get back in the fight. We dip out to see how Petite Soldier's doing. Observing from a distance here. A couple of marks being made.
Nothing coming from that action. You see Mad Dogs able to at least stabilize from that position a bit, at least get some of the members to disengage from that bout, as it was getting a bit heated, a little bit too heated for their liking this early in the game. Still already 3 squads knocked off from the initial 20 we started with, and we see now Petite Soldiers being able to find the angle as the prey that they've been hunting sitting in that building.
Moving in cautiously, bit by bit, ready for the advance. Got a lot of distance shooters here, looks like. Octane posted up with the crew intel for Petite Soldiers. At a distance where they can engage a bit here. Got to be careful not to leave themselves too exposed to potential flank. As they recover to, once again, do a little bit of looting, just clear out this area behind them. They got an eye on the action, so they're not too concerned about something from around. We have the coercion here, however. Oh, Z continuing to explore. Look further ahead on the map.
What do you think is over here?
Coming in through the energy depot to get some looting done, but getting a sense up ahead, they are not alone.
Just a two-man squad here we see on Vortex now.
Let's go over here.
Transfer back into Mad Dogs, who are still been in this pretty precarious situation. Some third-party team looked like was still trying to get into the situation that they had found themselves be able to kite out of, but they have really nice gun combos, have that 301 and the Eva on that Gibraltar, have just a lot of tools as they sit sheltered in that position in the house, get a nice little turtle with that Gibraltar. Nobody wants to press up on those three sitting inside of weight.
Not at all. Going to be a hard push there. You can see Wraith doing some work where you're back out. Could be getting a couple of swaps made, picking up some more. And we got the energy, got the battery cell on deck. Octane is let loose fully, hitting that stem and booking it. Movement squad living up to the name here. Octane on lead.
Because I'm bored.
What will he find? What will he find? Next engage could be a while away here. This is nothing quite in range. Oh, tries to hit the zip line, but I saw some shots coming in from afar. Gonna be halted a bit there.
Now we're gonna have to see as the circle begins to close round one, 2 minutes left on the zone, how these zones that are gonna be already contested become even more difficult for them to stay so safe and have the space to disengage with these small taps. You can see people trying to farm up those Evo shields, trying to get a bit more of that damage, get the shields to just actually have that evolution from the damage incoming, and then possibly disengage, use some of those resources, and get some of the priority on this next loot. But you're seeing that everybody that is in that quadrant of the map has already farmed what seems to be available.
Completely cleared so far, but there's plenty of opportunity in getting some kills, hopefully at least, as we see US Army Esports here with Revenant continuing to push the advantage. It looks like they're about to get into a firefight indoors. See the potential for a brawl to break out there. Switching back and forth between a couple of different viewpoints to try and get a full angle of what's going down here. US Army Esports. Around here, we see the help med kit being applied here by the Gibby.
US Army Esports feeling very comfortable with this composition that they've crafted, as well as how decorated they are right now. You see 4 purple armor across the team. You're gonna feel very comfortable setting up the Revenant ulti, getting some offensive pushes, and not feeling like they're gonna be at a gun power or defensive power disadvantage no matter what foe they try to take on.
Eyes on target there. Trying to go for the hit. Beautiful connect with the charge rifle. 2 shots is a third on another competitor. Absolutely brutal from deep. That is solid damage as always. And now we're rushing in Octane, ready to come through for the kill. The team backing them up.
They do have Blur Favor there on the Bloodhound, maybe able to scout something out there. We're not going to see what happens because we are busy jumping over to US Army Esports, who are also looking for some opportunities, like we said, with their nice loot advantage that they have. Honestly, one of the most decorated squads that we've been able to see. And you see that Wingman and the Mastiff on the Jig, being very difficult to break through, but too quick. We have to jump into Movement, one of your excited teams that you're looking to, and see how they'll fare in this fight. They are looking a lot less decorated in the armor department.
That is going to be a big vulnerability moving ahead, because we're absolutely getting into the crunch time here. There's no way for them to recoup things like this without getting into some degree of firefight. Tang getting clipped a lot from behind there as he gets indoors to try and recharge those shields. Meanwhile, over with Movement Squad, once again living up to that name. We got Crypto, we got Gibraltar, we got Octane. All indoors, moving as one, as per usual. Once again, that incredible movement offered there. It helps them out, but they're being hit from behind, and the Gibraltar goes down.
Looks like a huge tank as they're trying to kite away there with the movement from the Oct. Had the jump pad, but unfortunately just getting lasered down. We'll see what happens to Movement there. We see now Kaizen falling. We see them getting gunned down as the kite is not enough. And just like that, eliminated from the map. 15th in this set.
That was rough. You see you're going down, and you can already see your teammate is lower health than you are out in the open. It's a rough sell every time. Meanwhile, in the nice, cozy quarters of the indoors, the coercion gets a moment to just kind of sit down, take a rest, talk about how the day has been, but also, most importantly, regroup, coordinate, get themselves a plan of action in mind. You can see that they are waiting patiently for a bit, for an opportunity to strike. Look like they're posted up by the door, just waiting for somebody to come through.
Those comms are war stories and campfire chatter. Just nothing but good vibes as they're waiting for that placement possibly to get up. Look for a bit more of a third party maybe opportunity. Not necessarily going to call a ratting through the map, but so far setting up a nice little defensive stance there in that building. Nobody's breaking through that door without hearing a few answers from the coercion.
Not at all. Meanwhile, Team Nestle up there, getting themselves ready to go. Once again, we see Mad Dogs outside doing the same. Octane decides to drop the juice for now. Work on getting restocked and ready to go. Picking up some more ammunition here because he got the R301 on deck. Not bad at all. Got the EVA as well.
Potent combo, very meta combo on a very meta build. You see that the Bloodhound, Gibraltar, and the Octane are going to be very well suited for any fights that come up too. They had the red armor, I believe, on that Octane, so going to be able to be played very aggressively.
But this is they're being hunted down. Unfortunately, that is going to be the wings on that poor Octane clipped as the shotgun comes through, does not have the ability to get behind cover quick enough. Meanwhile, out with Mad Dogs here, we can see everybody on deck. Gibraltar, unfortunately, without shield, looking a little bit worse for wear. Needs some healing if he can get it.
Mad Dog's looking very comfortable with the positioning that they're getting on this closing in ring now. You see 38 seconds as round 2 closes. We'll see where this third ring that becomes very pivotal for your end game movement and the positioning that it comes out in. We'll see where it decides to drop. We'll see where the teams choose to position. I could imagine that the Mad Dogs are looking to get a very solid positioning in the middle with that Gibraltar, as we have a lot of people running the Gibraltar. It's going to be crucial to get the best stronghold that you're defending, not necessarily trying to push up on anybody.
Push ahead once more. Waiting for that chance to strike, peeking the window, seeing if they can keep an eye out for any sort of movement. They know where they're headed next, certainly. With Blunt Hunter on deck, they got excellent vision to press and push that advantage. Back out with Team Nestle once again. We got Gibraltar getting up. Shield Dome is active. He's trying to take shots at another team that is sliding by. Come on, further up from the vantage point ahead. Legends never die. No doubt gonna have the ability to get eyes on somebody from here, but which direction is the question? Gonna drop down. There we go. No, never mind. That was just shots being taken at the ramp. I thought the firefight was breaking out, but no, here's the firefight. As they can see somebody definitely hiding behind that ramp there. And it is going to be U.S. Army Esports. We see Revenant coming around the corner. Octane and Gibraltar ahead of him.
They chose to break away from that Watson barricade that they had built there. The Spiders at the center of this fight that they're looking at, and trying to get a bit more of a defensive positioning on this upper side of the ramps here. But U.S. Army Esports is going to have a very difficult time approaching from up these ramps and going to be rained on from above. And you never want to be approaching in a BR from below. It's always going to be a lot more easy to eat up some headshot damage and get, unfortunately, just mowed down by the firepower that's going to come out from this Pathfinder on the Volt rifle, as well as that R99 as you get close.
Absolutely. Always remember those sage words, timeless wisdom passed down. You cannot win. I have the high ground. It is true wisdom, best believe. But meanwhile, Legend Never Die, I think a great vantage point, is in the better situation here. Able to duck back as those shots come through. Trying to catch the opponents on the reload, on the reset. Make sure they're able to get a good option here. Pathfinder being pretty precautious. While from below, U.S. Army Esports has to figure out a way to get out of here because they are in close quarters combat. They've got to get up to be able to get a good vantage point, but how do they get there? The one ramp is being very heavily protected here. They're going to have to find a way to rush it. Got the death totem going down, and it looks like rushing it is exactly what they're going to do. Charging up the hill, trying to go for it. getting melted along the way, but it's fine because they're right back up. Might be able to, if they're tactical enough, do enough damage on the approach to unseat Legends Never Die, but it doesn't look like that's what's happening. Legends Never Die being very tactical with their placements and very on target with those shots, having a solid time picking off their enemies here. Meanwhile, they get upstairs, and Watson's already death trapped for the whole place.
So much unfolding as that approach happened. The approach you pray to see with the Revenant Death Totem, wishes fulfilled. US Army Esports come up, try to overtake what was a very great defensive position built up by Legends Never Die, and they get the kill on the Watson and break through the defensive tower defense there.
Incredible.
Showing
how they
the grit
that.
and determination of the US Army Esports, and still coming up with great health bars. There you see them clean up the squad.
Impossible. I can't imagine. It couldn't be me. Folks, I'm willing to admit it couldn't be me. I don't know what I would do downhill like that. But US Army Esports pulls off a major upset there, in my opinion. And big props to them. 5 squads left here, and they just might be cleaning them all out.
Esports showing insane kill potential, showing that they are very confident in their dueling abilities. That kind of momentum leading into the final circle, leading into these final firefights is going to feel really good between the squad. Comms, you know, are firing off. You're feeling like you can't miss where you're shooting. So that's going to be crucial in the confidence that they're going to need to secure this first place. But they have very valiant foes that they're going to have to get through first. Bruvs, you see, already have 4 kills on this Bloodhound. A lot of kills all around the squad. They've taken out many squads, and US Army Esports seem to be on their radar coming up.
It's wild so far with the Bruvs looking for a little bit of extra pickup here. I'm honestly not sure how much is left to be salvaged, but we do have Trovo as well with Gibraltar, Bloodhunter, Octane, a very popular lineup as it seems coming through. None of which is particularly surprising.
The Trovo bros, you see Apulus, you see them all approaching, trying to get into that final circle, make a name for Trovo as they come out here in the Trovo Titans and try to secure placement in that really exciting $10,000 cash prize qualifier we have going on. 20 teams tomorrow getting to that point, but first you have to get to the final circle here. You have to get to that champion screen to know that you have what it takes to have that momentum leading into this event, that you know that you were fated to be here today to secure that prize between your team.
And it certainly feels like they were. The Bloodhunter. And the pick up there. You can see they're getting prepared to get into quite the fight here. US Army Esports is coming ahead, hungry for blood once more. The Trovo's inevitably close enough to get into a fight with them. Shots being picked up from a distance there. Excellent engage there with the Revenant. Coming up along the side. Approaching quickly, dangerously. Moving up. I believe you have Octane in there with them.
Both of them running great meta lineups. Those R4s in the EVA just have so much versatility. You have the great mid-range, you have a great approach. We'll see if they try to get the recovery on their jib. We'll see if it happens. But right now, we see Mad Dogs in a very heated firefight.
Indeed, and recovering as best as possible. Octane here going to need to be cautious in placing ahead, but he's fully juiced and ready to go. He's also getting melted from a mile away there by Mad Dogs, with Gibraltar getting some long-distance shots here. Area well marked. Pushing ahead, getting ready to engage. Here comes Mad Dogs. Will utilize the cover as best they can. We can see them coming in, getting picked off all the way down and lasered once they actually hit ground.
Cody with that ultimate accelerant now, right as the important time is coming, trying to get that blood hunt going, get the great outline of your enemies and increase movement speed. That is going to be so crucial as the final moments tick down. We see now 33 seconds before this final circle starts to come out. We see that a lot of the fight is happening to the west side of the circle, so people are going to have to start kiting up, start moving forward. We see now the death totem being put up with the shield. You see how potent this combo of the Revenant and the Gibraltar can be, and just like that, Bruvs with the very dominant lead that they've seemed to secure so far are going to be looking to press up towards that and get a very solid center inside of the epicenter of the circle.
He's coming through from afar. Trying to make sure they don't get snuck up from behind. To get 4 squads left. This absolutely can happen and inevitably will. Even barely boosted from the Octane, but they are well exposed to the last few people coming through here. Everybody being precautious. The wall is closing in, taking a look out for those people that are coming in to our final circle. It's going to get close quarters fast. Those last 4 squads are going to drop very soon. Here comes one of the first engages. Someone is spotted from behind cover. Managed to catch a member of Mad Dogs here with a couple of clips off top.
Very important that these next 6 seconds and 5 seconds you are using it as the round 5 closes to get the best position that you can in the circle. But the firefights are now inevitable as all the teams are sitting on top of each other. 4 squads remaining, 11 players now between the 10. You see the number drop as that circle closes in, and we see Mad Dogs and Bruvs being on the top of these on the other sides of these kills.
See a charge ahead coming through. We got ourselves some very close quarters combat as the last 4 squads look for their remaining competitors, trying to work out where they need to be looking. Not taking a little bit of distance. Well aware there's some nonsense going on the other side of that wall, but he's waiting patiently as he's going to come around the corner. You walk back out the U.S. Army Esports still alive.
Still alive and thriving, unable to get Dakota now to the recovery banner, but they did get TikTok Lazies out on that retreat, was able to get him at least to safety as people try to gun him out of the sky. They are sitting now not too comfortably with missing that Revenant, but they do still have options to turtle, still have options to be able to get a better placement as the 4 squads left are trying to make this very difficult for each other. The pin drop of a circle, though, that is coming out as the next minute and 51 seconds tick down is going to cause everyone to be in kill range. No matter what, you have to start responding to the gun threat and kill pressure, and you're seeing it already start to transpire now as the circle's ticking down.
Go ahead. Bros struggling for dear life here. Trovo as well. The engage once again, trying to hide behind that wall, getting a couple of hits landed there. Whittling opponents down, but he's taking some damage in the process there on the right side. Everyone is very well aware of where their opponents are at this point. It's very much so a matter of when rather than if, as you just need that moment to engage with the circle pressing them and with the aggression being so easily accessible. You only have to go so far to come up in the head and shoot. Fights like these are another quick work there. Unfortunately, doesn't work out for Mad Dogs. Struggling here. That Octane is just about done for.
Gibraltar ultimate that was set up, but they try to get some of these knockdowns, try to find some of it, and just like that, we do see Mad Dogs, we do see them be able to get in with the Octane, with the damage, and get the game-winning blow on that insane gunfight that came on the pin drop circle.
Absolutely incredible. Here is your squad, Gibraltar, Blood Hunter, Octane. Not a surprise at all to see these 3. Again, it is a very understandable team and very effective, as you can see. For those of you who may not be clued into the current meta game for Apex Legends, here you are. Very viable picks, and don't let that underplay how wild that was a final moment. Because again, we were just talking about some of the other teams that were doing ridiculous. I really thought we were about to watch a U.S. Army Esports sweep.
U.S. Army Esports had me so impressed. I just go back to them approaching on that ramp, using the Revenant Death Totem in the most pleasing of ways, showing the utility of that ultimate. We see now, like, we get into the highlights of the match as they were getting gunned down by Legends Never Die, who did put up a great defense. They transitioned their defense to this point to try to stop U.S. Army Esports advancement, but proved too potent with that Revenant, so that they were going to be able to get through that.
It was a wild one for sure. Don't let me undersell Trovo either, who absolutely did a phenomenal job there, making solid work out of their opponents and putting themselves into a pretty good spot. Those final struggles were an impressive bout indeed. We get to see as we speak. Everything being very close quarters, though. Made it very touch and go, very much so in this situation of you can be ahead and then a few split seconds pass by, and in those split seconds, your health has been melted clean off. You were focused on a little bit harder than you would expect. You know, the JB gets dropped. All of a sudden, you don't have a defensive angle. These things happen.
These things do happen, but what also happens is getting an amazing break to get to cool down from all that action as we wait for the next bout between these contenders to get fired up. So don't go anywhere. Just get yourself something quick to possibly refresh your appetite, get some hydration on you. Other than that, hunker down. We'll be back very shortly with the next round here at the Trovo Titans Closed Qualifier.
Are you streaming on Trovo yet? We're welcoming streamers to become part of our exciting and supportive community, no matter how big or small. It's easy to use, has fun features, and is especially great for mobile gaming. Streamers can receive subscriptions, gifts from fans, and many more cash rewards. New Trovers can earn up to $380. Just use referral code TrovoTitans. That's TROVOTITANS in the Creator Studio to become a Trovo streamer. It's time to level up and start streaming on Trovo.
We're rewarding our community with coveted Titan points in North America, Latin America, and Europe. Titan points can turn into cash at the end of the Trovo Titan series. You can earn Titan points 3 ways. Join our Discord and hang out with the community. Your engagement will earn you automatic points. Play in our free-to-play online tournaments. The more you play, the more points you earn. If you place well in the tournament, you'll get bonus points too. Be part of the fun and earn Titan points today. We'll see you on the leaderboards. Visit trovotitans.live/Titan points for more info. Looking to be the next great Trovo caster? Apply today for the Trovo Titans Community Caster Program. We're looking for dedicated Trovers who want to boost their following by casting some of our community tournaments right from your own channel.
And welcome back, folks. We have for you some more of our fantastic Apex Legends $10,000 qualifiers. This is already underway, but only getting better from here. I am super excited to be back into it. Austin, can you tell us more about how things are looking so far? In your opinion, of course.
Well, after that last bout we got to see between these teams that have qualified thus far, I know we're only going uphill. The fingers are looking warm. The placement and positioning is looking fired up. The comms, no doubt, are going off between these teams. So I'm excited to get into this next bout that we're going to get into. They're dropping in at World's Edge. We don't know what variation of World's Edge is going to be. You know, these maps differ, the many different variations that they have, but it's going to be a good bout no less. We talked earlier about the drops and how important it can be. We saw those teams with the early purple advantages on the armor and how they was translated into red advantages and insane amounts of kills by these squads, bruvs, by these squads, mad dogs. And that led to insane circle presence. And we're going to see how that gets to be shown again in this game too.
Absolutely. I am looking forward to seeing what the highlights reel after this is going to look like, because certainly from our first one, we've already got some moments I'm going to be looking back on very, very fondly for a while to come. Some truly, truly hype encounters. But these close quarters matches, man, it really creates stuff like that fantastically well. And with the next line of competitors, I'm just looking forward to seeing what names are going to start to stick out to us, because we definitely have a couple of names: Trobos, Truvs, Mad Dogs, U.S. Army Esports, absolutely now the forefront of our minds here. And we have a whole new crop of competitors being thrown in there that are gonna give us a couple of more folks to believe in.
Absolutely. Well, we're good to see how those names look stacked up against each other as we see the scoreboard from that last drop that we had come in on the match one. Mad Dogs, we saw, of course, take away the first place, earned 30 points with that. Bruvs took a strong second. U.S. Army Esports took an amazing, valiant place at that third place podium. Team Nestle, the people who qualified first in the entire qualifier for this squad, is going to take fourth. Trobros on the fifth with 8 points. The Coercion with their nice turtle strat got 7 points under their belt. Airstream Esports 6 points. Leave No Witness 6 points. Schmovement Squad also at 6 points, and Complexity with the 5 points at 10th. I think also 11 through 20 is going to be getting some points racked in as well.
On the other end of things, we have, look at that, Petite Soldiers there in 11th. Then following up with Spacelanders, We Don't Know, TSS, Legends Never Die, Vortex, Dark Matter Black, 3 Chicks, Iridescent, and a Perfect Execution.
Well, we'll see how those 20 teams get a chance to get their points racked up even further as they drop into the second bout that they're going to be going into. The line is going to be looks pretty straight through the map, so a lot of options open up for your loot. We'll see Mad Dogs dropping very early, choosing to go a bit far, it looks like, with not dolphining too early, trying to get a bit more distance before they rack up that speed. Possibly very comfortable with where they like to position themselves on World's End, and you see they are getting nice scouting on where everybody else is seeming to drop as well. So we'll see if they're able to replicate the success they found on game one as we see them getting into game two, but it is going to be a very hard-fought win nonetheless.
It certainly is, but we have seen strong successes already, so we know a little bit of what they're capable of. Mad Dogs here getting equipped nice and early on. Getting to watch this early game and just seeing who lucks out on the draw here. We got a couple of shield boosts. We got a couple of things on deck there. Got the alien, got the alternator on deck, ready to go. So we got some close range damage here. We got the Peacekeeper on deck, trusted side on for any occasion, especially early start. Distance shots there, however, going through. Get some early game damage off. We already got ourselves a firefight, folks, with Gibraltar putting down that shield. We're seeing to rush forward for. He's going to take a step back, try to shield up further. They're coming in. They're going to get melted the minute they pass through that barrier. ASE down, gets into the shield and does some big time damage to the Gibraltar, taking a lot of heat himself, however, and going down in the process. Blood Under dies for it. It does not work out well for the team. They tried for the push, got a little greedy potentially, trying to hit the Gibraltar and squad inside shield.
very greedy and unfortunately take the capital punishment, which is going to be their life, their run inside of this second game. They're going to be sitting there having to take a bit of what they've brought into that second game back to the drawing board, but Iridescent is feeling very sketch about going forward. You see Ricky is sitting, lying in wait, not wanting to open this door yet, even though it has a lot of movement and ability to get out of any sticky situations, just lying in wait for anything while his team continues to loot.
As we continue on further ahead, we have Petite Soldiers looking for another chance to get a little bit geared up here. They're not doing too bad here. We got the Volt, we got the Hemlock, we got some stuff on our side, some weapons with our potential, but most importantly, we of course have ourselves a lineup with Octane leading the way. Just covering some distance, going from place to place. About to hit uptown and get some equipment picked up further away. We have perfect execution. It was a pretty good equipment themselves. Look at the gear loadout.
Did the trials there, making sure that they get the most out of that map. Not many teams choose to go and do those trials to get that loot, but as you can see, it can be very rewarding, even though was down to the last ticks of some health, able to get through that, able to secure the nice armor upgrades, and it looked like a Phoenix kit as well in the bag, so they have a lot of tools moving forward. It doesn't matter how much you loot, though, as if you're not ready to necessarily use that loot to press your advantage. So gotta make sure that the mindset is not PVM. You gotta be in PvP. You gotta be ready to go against these champs and legends that are sliding in and that are going in to do a lot more damage than those mobs were to do the trials.
We don't know. Pushing their position here. Keep it a close eye out. You can see further on ahead places where we might have some firefights going through. Envisioning the final circle already. For the time being, US Army Esports is back at it again, getting themselves prepped and ready to go. They have some similarly shining moments like they did last match. I'm confident that they will. Iridescent out here alongside folks like Dark Matter Black to potentially take a shine off that lead from our predecessors, our Titans of the first game.
As we saw the early fights now subside, it's been a very respectful first circle transpiring between these squads, seeing now still 18 left as round one begins to close. So now everybody that's sitting around the edge is trying to get some people that are approaching are going to have to be a bit more defensive, maybe kite back a bit more, not put themselves too open, trying to catch out some rotations and try to find some buildings where they can scope some really nice opportunities and approaches for people trying to come in a bit later.
Getting some visibility, getting the opportunity to drop here from up top there. Back out to Spacelanders, though. Doing a little bit of healing. Mad Dogs nearby, potentially ready for the hunt. Drone goes through, trying to shoot it down. Not going to quite be on target there. Spacelanders knows they're being watched. Mad Dogs coming around. Looks like Firefight might be about here. Absolutely, they are peeking into it. Firefight in progress. Able to pick off one of the teams. There's a protective bubble.
Getting a huge third party there. That flank is going to be massive and devastating. You're not going to want Mad Dogs, the ones to flank you and get really crazy advantage out of that. They already are sitting very comfortable with those loots that they've sat with, and now they're looking to fire up and get some of those Evo upgrades that just come naturally.
A couple more pickups. Got the Eva on deck once again. The R301 alongside it. Doing a couple swap outs. Again, spreading the wealth amongst the team, making sure everybody's all geared up and ready to go. Perfect execution. Very well prepared for the match yet to come. But we're seeing good chat. Yes, there is, in fact, a leaderboard that we'll be taking a quick look at as the matches go on. So stick around and you'll get the opportunity to see how all of our teams are doing, what you can expect from them moving ahead, and who is truly claiming these points that will have them pushing further and further ahead towards that first place cash prize.
Mad Dogs, who just cleared out that squad there, were able to secure the first game. Got the most points there, 30 points on their counters. You see them trying to get even more of a lead as they're doing really clean rotation play there to secure a clean up on that squad. You see how they're able to just do so much with their offensive pressure. Even in that crazy exchange that we saw at the end pin drop circle, they were able to come out in what was a very hectic exchange between the 4 squads. So they're very comfortable in close quarter situations. You see them take out squads without remorse.
Absolutely efficient and ruthless, as one has to be in a game like this. You can see shots from afar, accurate. Another signifier, as you can see, he attempts to get something to land from quite a ways away, really putting the long-range accuracy to the test here. U.S. Army Esports, everybody with the run up here under the effect of the Revenant ult. As we charge ahead, they are ready to charge in and re-attack. Almost taking a lot of heat there. Oh, God.
Eating all the heat there. They're looking
He's taking a lot of fire there.
Use the most out of that Revenant respawn. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board after getting that respawn. We saw earlier Trovo trying to get Apollos back on the map, having a difficult time finding him, getting a safe respawn beacon to find amidst all the chaos that is happening as the first circle closes. And I'm sure teams have now scouted out where that round 2 is going to be going. You see now how south the journey is for some of these teams. It's going to be a lot of ground to cover, and a lot of them are already under fire pressure. So you're going to have to be expertly in the kiting or cutting off the angle that these people are approaching with 3 chicks in a very close firefight here, getting closed in on, trying to do their best at getting Team Nestle to stop this onslaught of pressure coming in, but it's going to be thwarted. Both of the teams going to be kiting back. Team Nestle able to get the inside edge, getting a revive. Cheeky out of the corner there, and I think that they did get the squad wipe on that.
What a rush indeed, as we have quite the battle going on between the competitors, but Team Nestle manages to survive for the time being, gets some time to get prepped and reassess for the next fight. Meanwhile, back out Complexity is on to give her their next opportunity to get the kill. Touchdown, gets to the next level, gets a successful hit there. He does not want to walk into that room again. Not trying to be greedy like we saw earlier on. Does not want to get into a similarly lethal situation. He's got some teammates on deck coming through to help him out. Flanking the opponent from the other end of things. Splitting that work across directions. Difficult as it is to wage war on multiple fronts. We're going to see some serious damage done. Petite soldiers moving up. Getting a lot of shot pressure here. Gonna drop down.
Mr. Reese getting off that huge shield bat there to fully charge up that red shield. Going to be able to go back and be a nice defensive beacon for his team, hopefully getting them out of this exchange. Petite soldiers back against the circle. There's not a closing in yet, but 1 minute left means they have to start thinking about how they're going to be headed into that next arc.
Over to the side. Trying to keep eyes open for anything crazy going down. Not quite finding it yet. Meanwhile, Petite soldiers reveling from their win here, just about on the edge of the circle right now, doing their best to get well equipped and ready to go, but Complexity is ready to go hunting. We have Wraith keeping a wide angle vantage look as a team. A little bit of distance there. Meanwhile, back out. Complexity again is out of town. Hitting the stem to get some distance going. Just start that charge ahead. T-Soldiers in close pursuit. Getting fired on, though. Comes up that hill and into some heat.
That rotation getting called out there. Complexity having to kite back, find some of that movement to get into the rocks, try to break up what's going on. Finds the hostile detective, scanning them out, finding who's going to be the enemies that were trying to search them out, looking for that arc star, but not going to be hitting. Gets a really nice position on the counter engage now and makes the people who were in the shark situation now the prey, having to retreat back into those mountains, trying to find a safety into that ridge.
The issue, you come out like that, you expose yourself a little bit, and at this juncture, 11 squads left and the circle shrinking as we speak. There's going to be a lot of people mid-rotation, trying to get into the next safe zone that are going to be, as you take the opportunity to get some shots made, taking some shots right back at you.
Just like I had mentioned, Petite Soldier spent a lot of time in that engage right at the edge of the last circle. And as we see the second ring closing in, they do take a lot of health damage. They have the syringes, they have the slide movement that Apex provides, so much utility and so much amazing capabilities you bring out from these legends. And they're able to make it back to the circle safely, but they are wounded. They have used resources to get back, and they are now exposed because they are coming in on that circle with teams that have already been sitting inside of the epicenter, trying to get some position, scouting out who's going to be approaching, already taking a bit of that damage.
It's a rough thing to have that shaved off you, but it's better being out of the game. Dark Matter Black, however, posted up inside, doing not too bad at all for themselves at the moment, as they look for their next chance to strike. Meanwhile, back out TSS. Bombardment coming through here as Gibraltar gets something dropped. It gives him enough breathing room to suppress a fire, one could say. Try to go for that chest and get re-upped. Nestle ready to come around the corner, quite possibly sometime very, very soon. We're just outside the thermal station here, ready to get into a firefight. It's a jump, and he manages to get through without taking a bunch of damage on the way in, but posted up top of that roof. He's going to get a couple of hits from afar on him. And somebody mid-air does get a couple of very good hits.
That accuracy and the timing of the fall of the bullets is just so impressive every time I see it. These are some laser-locked focus from these competitors coming out, trying to get their break off of that $3,000 top prize, trying to get the most out of the 10 Gs that are being distributed amongst these top teams. So you're seeing the amount of skill that comes out for these competitions, for these top prizes, and complexity that we're sitting in some awkward situations on the rotations earlier are now very farmed, feeling very comfortable with the armor and gun loadouts that they've built up.
Someone peeking there is going to get hit. That exchange doesn't go well for him, but they get a little bit off, but a little bit is a key point. But seeing who it is inside, looks like there's two Gibraltars getting into a firefight from deep, and neither of them are particularly bothered by it. It looks like both coming away with but a scratch off the shield.
Some beefy boys able to take some shots, take that huge damage debuff as well on incoming damage. I believe it's a 15% debuff on any incoming damage because of the tanky body that comes through. So we'll see which of those two are able to get the edge. But we see now Brubs on the back foot, at least getting enough space to breathe and revive, pick up Mr. Hakulo. He's going to be sitting, trying to get a nice med kit to pop off, get that health back, and hopefully have a shield battery to get a full recharge on that shield. But we still see the respawn had timed out, unfortunately, for the side of the Trobros. They're not able to get their third member back. They're sitting man down as 10 squads remain, but they are increasing their place. Now you see as you get through this 10th squad and into the 7th, 6th, your points are going to increase no matter what happens in the end game. So nice place for them to be, even though they are a man down.
That is going to make this next few moments quite difficult with full teams everywhere in an environment that was already very highly contested. With some shots going through here from TSS, Gibraltar doing his best to spot someone peeking. Knows who's on the other end of that ridge, but doesn't have a clear lane here so far. With 10 squads left, that circle getting small. They'll encounter one another soon enough.
Yeah, they're gonna want to turtle as much as possible, Trobros here, and try to get into that final fight the same way they did before. They did unfortunately get knocked out, I believe, 4th of the 4 teams that were there, but 4th nonetheless, ahead of 16 or 17 other squads. 15 other squads in that manner. So really nice stuff coming out from them, able to get the most out of even a 2-man unit. So Trobros looking for a deep run as that circle goes in, but that third circle, the 4th circle, that's going to be closing in about 1 minute and 20 seconds, is going to force out a lot of, unfortunately, risky positioning from anybody that's trying to stay safe.
You can see Team Nestle is just outside of where that circle is going to end up, meaning they have eyes on somebody that's going to have to come towards them or do a big rotation to try to stay outside of their range. Meanwhile, Octane posted up, just waiting for someone to leave that protective bubble. Goes for it, gets a couple of hits off at the very end of them coming around that corner. Can't finish the job.
TSS moving so smoothly. They're finding so many opportunities and getting a huge slide blast on splash turns there to get the sad wipe. You see Team Nestle now in a very back foot situation as now 2 members on their side are not two members, like I say now, are knocked. The Bloodhound by Malice Mamba getting a nice angle on this fight. Has that R301, that R4 ready to go, and switches over to the Volt. Is feeling comfortable switching between these. Had true gunslinger in nature. You're seeing Malice Mamba try to get something out of this, but in a very back foot situation, as if anybody comes and approaches that's already a 2-1 situation, will be so devastating.
Oh god, there's a lot of damage coming through there. Managed to get somebody just indoors. Bloodhound going for the dive, ready to finish the job. Looks like Complexity is about to get dropped on at any moment. They are well prepared for that eventuality. You can outside, they can tell what's going on nearby. Gonna be able to bail out to relatively safe territory, it seems. Not getting immediately swarmed, like I said, but you can see over there where the Gibraltar ult is coming through. Unless it's Bangalore running around, I haven't seen.
And yes, our eyes are focused on what? Dark Bladder Mac. We see a lot of teams. We see a lot of mentionable names, Complexity. We see a lot of those names, but we do not see Trovos. They're doing what they need to be doing, sitting, turtling with that two-man unit. There was 30 people, or 29 people on the map, and 6 of them have fallen that are not them. So they're increasing that placement. 9 squads left. We'll see what happens as they continue to try to get a bit more of a better placement in that 4th circle. But Dark Matter Black being put on the ropes. Bruvs as well, now sitting very farmed and looking comfortable. They've already gotten a few kills on some squads, racked up a lot of damage between their carries, and the next Evo is coming through on that Octane and 52 units. He's looking for a quick shot, something to just get, just like that Evo on the body armor, now sitting on purple armor and going to be using a shield bat to fully charge it up, getting the most use out of that battery.
Once again, hits from distance. It costs him a little bit, but he's getting good shots. Shield battery getting deployed here with Bruvs. Doing a little bit of prep work of their own. Once again, healing, reconfiguring for the final push. There's yet another tightening of the circle ahead of us. 7 squads left. That's too many. Some of them are going to have to go before we get down into that truly intense shoulder-to-shoulder kind of space where our final firefights are most likely to happen. But there's a good chance that here and now is where we're going to see very suddenly 7 teams just completely go through each other.
Complexity Reptar was able to get a really nice ultimate accelerate popped off in the heat of the moment, right as we're getting to that final 5th circle, the 6th circle that's going to be coming in, showing itself very shortly. He's going to be wanting to have that ultimate on deck so he can mark out these enemies, try to get really nice positioning, and get some of these movement speed buffs that make Bloodhound so devastating in these final exchanges. But we'll see what happens, as they do have a nice position, but it's starting to get called out here. The people do know that they're there. There's not many places left to hide. All 7 squads have a great mind of where each other are at, but Tro Bros, where are they? They're still lying in wait. We do not know.
There's waiting patiently again with the number of sonars going off. Somebody knows. It's known. Bloodhunter is doing too much tracking for the other teams to not be at least somewhat aware, at least some of them, of what is going down here.
A name we haven't seen this match in U.S. Army Esports, still feeling very comfortable in their placement so far. They're getting a very clean run so far, already getting now to top 6 squads in the second game that's coming out between the qualifying groups that we see coming out in this exchange. But game 2 is going to be heating up very shortly, as now we see the final seconds of round 5 closing. We will see where the pin drop circle will be located, where these teams must make their final stand.
There must stay with 57 seconds left on the clock. We are about to get into face-to-face range here.
Dark Matter Black, a great positioning, just naturally, just sitting in a very defensive spot. They're going to be able to have people approach through these awkward situations up top where you feel like you have the high ground, but they're able to come up from behind and get some really cheeky kills, but maybe they went out too far.
Diving ahead, looks like it may have been them, but getting greedy this time around. This roster once again tries to throw down the bubble and is going to die for it. Unfortunately, U.S. Army Esports, one of the 3 teams left standing. How are the 3 of you? But we also see outside, dive in, going through, inside. Things have become chaos.
A fully charged Complexity was sitting outside waiting to come in and become the champions of that game 2. Complexity waited around that fight and that game so beautifully. They chose aggressive moments to get great leads. You saw them charge up the Evo and use every item that they got to their fullest extent. Great rotations. all around just insane gameplay, and you see just how the movement and the use of that heirloom and all the micro coming out from the players there just shows how much expertise they have in this game.
Absolutely. There's certain signifiers when it comes to competitive level players in just about any game, certain ways you can tell who has it. They absolutely have it. Things are picking up in a very interesting fashion, but as we talked about, these are some names, as we get to see here on our Palace replay, these are some names, these are some figures and individuals that are not entirely surprising to see doing this well.
Absolutely. We have great decorated names all through Apex, all through all gaming in general, just coming out today to do their best with the cash prize. You see Team Nestle had a great exchange there with 3 chicks. They were able to get a nice, clean team wipe there. Petite Soldiers had a great run. They were able to get a nice call out on complexity in that river, but they had to be the ones to beat the bearer of bad news. They escaped into the mountains because complexity was just doing too much. And as people were fighting down here in the building, complexity was sitting with 3 fully farmed members just on the outside of the fight, raining hellfire down from above. You see their character models up there just being so cheeky and taking everybody out, just applying so much damage and just really doing amazing work to clean out that game.
And clean out they did. And as wild as it was, it's far from the conclusion to our days. Is that right?
Yeah, it's super clean. We didn't see them get necessarily a top 4 placement in the last bout, but with that convincing win, we know how devastating they can be. So GG to Complexity, GG to everybody that had made it that far, and everybody honestly just made it onto the map because these people have gotten into this qualifier from getting through a very tumultuous open qualifier. This is now just the closed bracket side of things. So make sure that you are staying connected as those kinds of open qualifiers open up, because if you want your team to have an opportunity at a grand prize like $10,000 and get paid for the game that you love to already play together, you're going to need to know when those are going in. So stay connected with us at Trovo Titans, wherever you can find us, all the social media. You know where we're at.
Absolutely. And please do continue to stick around with us through this tournament, because not only are we racing towards that big money, but this is a further opportunity to truly test these competitors and really see what they are made of, because clearly the competition is fierce. We have a wide range of teams that all feel like they could be very, very viably put on quite a few of our viewers' top 3s.
Absolutely, but before we get into any more of the domination we've seen and the drop-ins so far, we're going to get into a quick break so everyone can re-up on that energy. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll see you very shortly.
Are you streaming on Trovo yet? We're welcoming streamers to become part of our exciting and supportive community, no matter how big or small. It's easy to use, has fun features, and is especially great for mobile gaming. Streamers can receive subscriptions, gifts from fans, and many more cash rewards. New Trovers can earn up to $380. Just use referral code Trovo Titans. That's TROVOTITANS in the Creator Studio to become a Trovo streamer. It's time to level up and start streaming on Trovo.
We're rewarding our community with coveted Titan points in North America, Latin America, and Europe. Titan points can turn into cash at the end of the Trovo Titan series. You can earn Titan points 3 ways. Join our Discord and hang out with the community. Your engagement will earn you automatic points. Play in our free-to-play online tournaments. The more you play, the more points you earn. If you place well in the tournament, you'll get bonus points too. Be part of the fun and earn Titan points today. We'll see you on the leaderboards. Visit trovotitans.live/titanpoints for more info. Looking to be the next great Trovo caster? Apply today for the Trovo Titans Community Caster Program. We're looking for dedicated Trovers who want to boost their following by casting some of our community tournaments right from your own channel.
everybody. We hope you enjoyed that short break. We enjoyed it ourselves. We were getting hyped up for this third bout between the teams coming up. But I am still your friend Austin Champion, Mr. Austin Champ. This is still my friend, Mr. Caleb Browner. Looking forward to some exciting Apex Legends still that we have to unfold. But we first want to get into some amazing leaderboards that are away from this Apex Legends scene, more on the Trovo Titans scene. We have the North American Trovo Titans leaderboard coming up. But first we want to talk about how to get Trovo Titan points. You want to be hanging out in that Discord, being awesome, reacting, giving us all the hype that we need with all the stuff going on in the Discord. Make sure you're active there. You can also gain points by competing. You can get points from competing in the tournaments, many tournaments, like I said, over 100 always running like through North America, Europe, Latin America. So many opportunities for you to get in, and you can earn more prizes the more that you get up on that Titan point leaderboard. So if you want more information, make sure you're visiting Trovo Titans Live. But let's get into that North American leaderboard that we have thus far. In first place, Cross with the 34 points is going to be walking home with the most of the prize pool. Scrim Hubs Evil is going to have 30 points. Kali Life sitting at 25 points in a tie with X Sly and TTV Zellower. Beg, T Rich the Pierce J, all with 25 points tied up there. We also have Toxic at 24 points, Poxer at 20 points with Super Click, clean name there. And we see that leaderboard is very evenly distributed. Cross taking home the most there. So if you want to get your spot on that top 10, make sure you are doing what we said earlier, interacting. We have some upcoming tournaments. July 25th will be the Fortnite solos in US dollars. There will be a $300 prize pool coming out 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Brawl Stars 3v3 coming out as well August 1st. So look into the August events we have coming out. And then August 8th will be the Pokemon Unite $300 prize pool tournament. I'm excited about that one. Nobody has been really doing some Pokemon Unite tournaments yet, so one of the first ones that will be out in the scene, hosted here at Trovo Titans with a great prize pool as well. So we're going to be looking at the current standings for the Apex Legends event that we're currently enjoying, this $10,000 closed qualifier where these teams have been doing insane displays of Apex mastery. Mad Dogs have secured that first place prize, now having 39 points and sitting in first. Complexity, who we saw take that last victory, that last champion screen, now at 32 points. U.S. Army Esports with very consistent, great deep runs in these battle royales, now at 29 points. Brubs, another name we've mentioned so often, 28 points. TSS, who had a great showing last game, now at 23 points. Team Nestle also tied with them, 23 points. Dark Matter Black at 15 points. Petite Soldiers and Trobros both at that 13 points, tied for 8th. The Coercion now at 12 points, going to be sitting at 10th place.
We are looking at some great point totals here so far. I am very excited to see more of how things unfold. We also have another whole list ahead of us. So Legends Never Die here in 11th. We Don't Know in 12th. Airstream Esports in 13th. Leave No Witnesses for 14th. Movement Squad in 15th. 16th has 3 chicks. Iridescent in 17th, A Perfect Execution in 18th, Spacelanders in 19th, and Vortex in 20th. Wow, there are some pretty impressive names that are a little bit lower down here, but we do have some opportunity for them to potentially come ahead, get that extra boost they need, and certainly they do need it. They want to get through as quickly as possible with these first couple of matches, setting such a strong baseline of points. It's only going to get more difficult to make that comeback happen later on.
They do need it because this will be the last to drop in on the Battle Royale from these squads in this group of the qualifiers. So if you are not had your best showing yet, it's now or never. We know that it has been a very great showing from the teams at the top, and maybe that's why we're seeing so many of those teams that we maybe expected to do a bit better from what we saw early, doing not as well as expected, because the people who are sitting at the top have been able to sit, farm, get really nice leads on the items and the armor, choose their battles effectively, and choose when they want to be offensive in that pin drop circle round 6. So we'll see who gets to that spot now as everybody's dropping in. Some people already looting it, ready to be shooting, and some people taking a long scenic route, making sure that they're getting a bit of distance away from their competitors.
Here we are Hitting the ground, US Army Esports getting their initial loots gone through. Coercion doing the same here. Our pickers. What do we have? We got a P20. Not bad. We have a firefight breaking out almost immediately here. Somebody's got an R301 already and a scout on the side. They're doing pretty good for themselves. We have our perfect execution getting into a brawl. Complexity, meanwhile, somewhere else, just trying to get some loot gone through. Perfect execution, meanwhile, it's in the heat of it already. Sometimes in Apex, you have that opportunity to come around to get your bearings, get your money made first off. Other times, within the first 30 seconds to a minute of the match, you are fighting for your life.
Yeah, it's very difficult. 2 contestants already dropped off the face of the map. We are Kings Canyon. A beautiful sight to see us be able to come into this map and see a beautiful firefight breaking out very early, claiming 2 casualties, but nonetheless, they will have opportunities possibly to revive their teammates. There's even been 2 more people to drop off somewhere else on the map. We didn't get to see who that was, and there's just firefights happening all over the place. We see Tier 3 Lulu Simp just gunning down his opposition, but we're at this fight with Iridescent now, trying to make a press on and actually claiming the life of Mr. Incubus there. Incubus also able to jump back and revive Mr. Osiris, so Oski. So gonna be able to get a really nice exchange out of that. Take 1 and get your own safety on your own member.
Excellent work being done here as we once again see that early game example of the teamwork and coordination that has allowed our competitors to reach the heights they've reached thus far, and that will no doubt continue to give them plenty of successes in this next match. There's absolutely nothing in that chest. It hurts a lot. I know that fail. It's just absolute garbage, but it's pretty well equipped as it is. We're not doing too bad on the hunt as always, and currently not under fire, unlike some others I can think about there. They saw someone in the absolute thick of it, suffering again, but perfect execution is coming up, getting a little bit of an aerial vantage point. That are up high. They got the high ground, once again, ever important, so they're doing pretty well for themselves. Legends never die, however, we can see in some dire straits with 2 banners in recovery.
2 banners to recover. Yes, it's going to be a long trek to try to get your teammates back on your shoulder, but they're not down. They're not out yet. US Army Esports at the bottom of this positioning here, honestly taking devastating fire from above. See, Vortex have a really nice positioning on this, and US Army Esports are going to be doing their best, but they seem to get the cheeky kill on Freezy VG there, able to somehow turn what looked to be them getting mowed down into a nice capitalization on a kill.
Some wild work being done here with US Army Esports, posted up, getting those shields recharged, getting the bats through, used up. As we prepare for the advanced Vortex on the meanwhile, we have a lone Valkyrie just trying to get her friends back, just doing her best out here, but in dire straits and unable to do things like, again, loot, recover, get some damage off on other opponents. You can't engage right now, not with 18 squads left and you're alone.
Can't engage right now if you want to have a easy time placing, but you can if you're trying to farm some Evo level ups. You're trying to get those armor level ups. You see the team Nestle trying to get some nice slide-ins with the Bloodhound ultimate powered up. US Army Esports now really against the ropes as they're trying to figure out a way out of this situation, but seems to be so difficult as Team Nestle is mowing them down.
Get a revive coming here. Team Nestle has some hurting to be sure, but they're doing an excellent job keeping each other on their feet. Picking up a couple extra shield bats here. They're doing some surveying. We have Gibraltar pushing ahead. Perfect execution has a very, very weak Octane until there. Healing has completed. He's good to go. Overall, they're able to regroup, but they are in, it feels like, enemy territory. Dropping the scan to see if there's anything nearby. They appear to be alone for now. We could have popped the ulti there. Getting some excellent coverage. And cutting off a potential avenue for flank. While they keep their eyes open because there's a lot of angles from which they could be hit here.
Vibes just trying to fish out that 43 damage needed to get the Evo upgrade. Possibly has a lot of shields stored up, trying to get the most out of that resource without just wasting some of those bats or wasting some of those cells. So really nice stuff. Looking for maybe just a shot or two before they had that escape path that was the Octane jump pad, but chooses to go out, chooses to be a bit more safe, get some better positioning as round 1 is closing in. It's about halfway done now. We got 2 minutes and 20 seconds on this first ring, and there's firefights to be had early in the game for this third bout.
Firefights indeed. Iridescent here. Absolutely getting hard pressure here, but he knows exactly where they're coming from. Gets up, tries to get a better vantage point here. Let's loop around. And, oh, getting a lot of damage off of their opponents on the retreat. Oh, a lot of heat connects there.
Hitting straight flesh as they retreat there, try to get into that building, but nonetheless, they're just stacked up on top of each other. Iridescent get a great call out to get on top of that building and try to see as they're retreating, get possibly a few sprays, but they see a lot more than they bargained for, possibly looking to press that as they're looking to get some health regain and retreat, re-rally that squad. But we'll see what happens as across the map we see just all types of chaos breaking out. Three chicks being on the press now from Mad Dogs, it seemed to be. And the Mad Dogs, we know, is very oppressive when they have their eyes locked in on you.
Let's see whether or not they're going to be able to get the vantage point here. I don't know how you're planning on shooting through those trees, but it's Mad Dogs, so I believe they can. Getting accurate shot in that position can be difficult, but not impossible. Coercion, meanwhile, indoors, trying to hit the scan. Look out for enemies in any direction. Here at the Ares Capacitor. About to get into a bit of a firefight, it looks like. Maybe not immediately, but we're set up for these two to bump heads with Trovo not at all too far away. Running counter. Here we go up at the top. Shots landing already.
Trovo is being exposed by that Octane jump pad. It had a really risky rotation going up above and getting some really unfortunate rebuttal damage that comes out across from this bridge. But we see now as both Gibraltar ults are put up, T-Bro Curly Dream gets a nice knockdown on Kaizen. And with that Schmovement getting that Revenant set up, they're going to try to now press. You see the skill coming out from Revenant as well, taking away any skills that are going to be coming out from Trobos. They're going to try to get the press here. They do have a res coming in if they're able to get it before this timer goes out, so they're playing very aggressively.
Movement. Oh, I see Gibraltar getting absolutely melted there. Help our vanishing before our very eyes. Wasn't even on screen, but you can see him taking heat. Meanwhile, Trobro still in pretty good order here as they try to get their advance together. Once again, hitting that scan. Not anything inside immediately with the Bloodhunt ability, giving them a little bit of breathing room. And then allowing them to come down on some poor fool and finish him off.
Raining down terror. They jump from the jump pad and have all their heirlooms in tow as they melee down from the heavens. Really clean stuff coming out to clean up the rest of that exchange and get another squad off the map. We have 5 squads now off the map, going to be very contentious. You see a Caustic now on the side of Coercion, setting up his ultimate, really feeling comfortable in this little barricade that they have for themselves. And I believe Bruvs is not too far away from this area, so they might be walking into what is a Caustic death trap. They're not really running Caustic as well, so you don't get any of that mitigation from your own Caustic on what can be a very noxious experience.
Honestly, with all the intensity we have seen go through thus far, I am baffled that we're only at 12 squads left. Even here with the squads actively dropping as I speak, I was like, I feel like we should be at 7 left. What do you mean? I've seen people go down. I've been seeing too much bloodshed for this to still be there's people around. But again, we've seen a lot of very, very good teamwork and getting people back up, getting us revives. There's been a lot of engagements here, but apparently not a lot of actively wiped squads. Well... Speak of the devil, and Valkyrie shall die.
Comes around the corner, Valkyrie looking to take off, stunted in her path, gunned down there. But like you were mentioning earlier, this seems like the pace is very accelerated for this game 3 between these squads, where it could be either way. It's always a coin flip in those game 3s. You know this is the last bout. You know this is your last chance to get a high placement for those points. So you don't know whether or not you want to be playing more explosive and aggressive, or if you'd like to play more turtley, try to get full farm and get in your most comfortable build and positioning before trying to get any of those firefights. But we've seen firefights from moment 1 on drops all the way through this fight. We've been going all the way through, and through that turnaround on the Valkyrie who's looking to ult off into the heavens. You see it's a very telling tale of how explosive this matchup has been.
Wings clipped, unfortunately, with Mad Dogs here. And that appears to be Trobros out of it. Team Nestle not looking very good. Trying to get the revive here. That'll be 2 folks left. We got the Gibraltar, we got Blood Hunter, but they do not have their Octane, which is going to hurt. 10 squads left. How are there still this many people alive with what we've seen?
They find Octane, and just like that, Team Nestle feeling full powered, a lot of kills as well on their Bloodhound, so they're feeling very comfortable getting some finisher action that looked like going on in the shack. Octane doing his thing, gatting down his opposition, and just like that, hits the finisher on Skylar. We'll see if Mr. Hakulo, who was revived earlier in this battle, he was the one sitting on the back foot earlier, now is able to get any more of a better positioning on this final circles that are coming out. But round 2 is closing up. We'll see where round 3 goes. I don't even know if we'll make it to round 4 with the pace that's going on.
It's wild and crazy to imagine, honestly. But 10 squads left. The numbers suggest that we still have plenty of folks here going head to head. And if we can survive the amount of intensity we've had thus far, then maybe this next few minutes, maybe the remainder of our game here isn't going to be escalating levels of crazy. Maybe we'll stay, because we started high. Maybe we're just gonna hang there the whole time. I'm not sure how much higher it can go without it just being one big instantaneous firefight. No one's behind cover. We just run at each other and gun ourselves down.
We're hanging crazy out here. Aussie champion Caleb doing the thing, looking for some center positioning here. Team Nestle's trying to get into the circle, trying to call out anybody who's on the outskirts, running in from this south side of the circle, coming in. You see a minute and 44 seconds, so there is still a bit of time for that to fully close off before we see where the 4th circle will be. That circle itself will be very telling of how explosive that pace we spoke to earlier will pick up.
Lexity hunting for a chance right here. A lot of heat coming through. Hunted down. Unfortunately, the Octane goes down. That's 2 bandits that need to be recovered here. All we have left is Wraith. She can do a lot of work, certainly, but this is a high-pressure situation to recover 2 teammates. And again, with the time we have left on the clock, there's going to be a lot of pressure for them to regroup, get re-equipped, get themselves situated again, and be ready for a firefight in a match in which there's been so much intensity start to finish. I don't know when you find the time. Meanwhile, Brubs gets to dive in on somebody and manages to go through the whole team. Gets the breach and clear.
Brubs comes through Rambo with that Ava 8. Once it's done, flips over to the flat line off the hip. Just taking down, mowing down the opposition, getting a great flank as his team was looking to be against the ropes in that 3v2. Makes it all in his favor. Great approach by the Brubs squad, showing why they've had such deep runs in these battle royales.
Flatline indeed. Meanwhile, Coercion further out. Looking for a shot as well. Mad Dogs perched like Batman about to come down. I can sense another firefight in the works. Here we go. Gets a peek on it. That's a lot of damage on top. That is a lot of lasering off top. And look at him. Left that doorway entirely. He's another wing of the building. Knows better substantially. But Mad Dogs is in a great position here. Again, they've got the high ground advantage. They've got vision on their opponents. They know exactly when and where they need to be peaking, exactly where they have the potential for an engage. And that engage is going to be happening sometime soon. I'm very curious as to who that is in there because they're not doing well.
Noth is fully loaded and fully geared and modded on this R4. The R301, when it has those attachments, can just absolutely be
Coercion indoors again.
But they have the caustic, so it's perfect. They want to bait a team to come in here and try to eat up this poison. They want to bait somebody to come in, and possibly they don't know caustic is lying in wait. They didn't see.
It won't be Mad Dogs, apparently. Mad Dogs is perfectly fine where they are, so they're not getting Mad Dogs in there. But there's, again, 6 squads left, so there is a very, very strong possibility of getting somebody into favorable terrain for themselves. Who is it going to be, though, and how long are they going to have to wait, and what opportunities are they missing out on loot-wise by taking this wait? But again, if you got a caustic up, you're prepared for that eventuality.
If you bait the big fish, you might get the loot you didn't even need to go around the map dangerously to find. Just turtling perfectly. We'll see if it pays off. We'll see how coercive the coercion can be and if they can get someone into that lair that they've weaved. But just now we see Brubs, who were doing so dominantly, getting cut off in transition. Mr. Hakulo trying to use that octane speed to get out of what seemed to be death's door for the squad.
TSS, oh my goodness, trying to, and that was a miss, I believe. I saw no numbers, which is unfortunate. TSS is regardless post up in a pretty good spot to try and get some shots landed, but the opponent knows that they're there and knows that they are trying to get the hit from afar. Brevs coming through the canyon here. Nice and low, getting the rapid approach with Octane. So he's able to take advantage of it. Talking about having the high ground here would be honestly the cover you get from all these nooks and crannies, all these valleys can be very advantageous for a quick advance if you can have the ability to get through while you're not actively being observed, while someone's not actively looking down on you.
If Mad Dogs can continue to get great positioning inside of this next coming circles, the circle 4 is already closing with a quickness. We will see, well, it's not closing with the quickness, about to close in 23 seconds with the quickness. We'll see how they're able to get a great position and get a high standing on this leaderboard because they are already sitting very comfortably in first. They do have a bit of points to stay ahead of complexity on, but if they're both sitting first and second or second and third, something like this, they're going to have the points needed already to get that solid first placement out of this first group going on. So we'll see if they're able to continue doing what they're doing. TSS, another name that's been climbing through the battle royales. They also have the kill leader on their squad. They're going to be looking for that first place champion as well because they've been devastating in the fights that we've seen thus far.
It's been wild to watch Coercion still trying to hopefully get somebody to come onto home turf for them, getting prepared and ready to go. I can't say that they're not ready at the very least, but they might be waiting quite some time, and like I said, that could be difficult for them. You bait the big fish, just might end up being shark bait, so they have to be precautious, hopefully geared up as well as they could be here. Nice and indoors. The vault and the even, not bad at all, but meanwhile, further out, TSS is still hunting for their next chance at a strike. We have 4 squads left. They've got eyes on somebody, and not sure who that is, but they're trying to get some shots made from afar. Trying to get something on the peak, not getting anything to connect thus far that we can see here. Mad Dogs further away, getting some vision and mobility as well. It's going to be a wild final finish sometime soon, though. We are getting down to our final circles, and Coercion clearly very prepared to just wait that out. I think Mad Dogs might be taking that slot as well. They waited a little bit longer to get to that point, but here is where, with that finishing just on the outside of the building there, it makes sense to just turtle up and prepare for that final rush. Save the ammunition, save the resources.
They have a great angle as well already on Circle 5. They don't necessarily have all the way in, but they have a quick, easy transition to be in that easy placement to be able to respond quickly to the 6 pin drop circle. So we'll see what happens as these final 37 seconds tick down. 4 squads remaining. It's going to be very explosive, we'll see, because there is 10 people that are going to be fighting for very small surface area here on this Kings Canyon map. But we'll see what happens as it's going to be ticking down. 20 seconds now. We'll see what plans are also being formulated as more and more of these checks are being called out. We see that everyone's getting a good eye on which teams are being positioned where and formulating their plans to how they want to be the ones sitting on top, getting that champion screen at the end of this bout.
Here it comes. This is absolutely where the climactic final struggle happens. TSS diving in here, taking some heat on the approach, but not too much. We got plenty of shield, plenty of health on just about everybody here. The Octane peeking around the corner, getting peeked on himself as someone catches him with his head exposed. Now, the other thing is that Mad Dogs are getting into a fight with TSS and Mad Dogs about to go through the firefight. 2 of the 4 squads left. Here comes the Gibraltar ult raining down. Mad Dog stays out of the way of that, getting a couple of shots off on the side. As somebody goes diving, they're going to take some hits along the way, but he can't get too much clearance though because the ult is blinding right now and limiting the ability to move across the rooftop. Gives some ability for the other team, for TSS, to get out of there, get behind some cover further down, deeper into the circle.
Mad Dogs pressing off of their defensive opportunity that they had. They're looking to fish out the team at the bottom of the canyon, get an amazing overhead flank on that and clean up the entire squad. His Watson TV, Blurfago, Keon, all just melting by the hands of this approach by Mad Dogs. Mad Dogs feeling so comfortable to expand upon this lead now. 2 squads left. They have the number. They have the high ground. They're sliding down the hill looking for the approach, and they have not the most health on them, but they're feeling very comfortable moving down.
The Cossack has the lair set up, but Mad Dogs has done so much damage already. Coercion taking too much damage there, getting absolutely eaten in those final moments. Mad Dogs sweeps through like a hurricane, just perfectly funnels everyone exactly where they want them to be. Up on the cliffside, just gunning you down from above, coming down the hill and clipping the final team coercion as they were trying to retreat, getting enough damage off that they knew they could push in. We saw earlier somebody push into an enclosed space like that. Didn't work out for them. But we saw as well the breach and clear earlier on in this game that was very, very successful. And there, they knew they had the health to soak, and that the enemy team had already taken so much damage they couldn't. It wouldn't be a very long-term engagement.
Absolutely. We remember that they called out the positioning there earlier. Noth had a melting R3-1 usage on the caustic down there. They knew where they were at. They were able to clean up and get very aggressive. But as we get into the highlights of this match, we saw that there was insane fights all throughout. We're sitting here at 17 squads, but it's looking like a kind of fight that happens as 4 squads are going to be going in towards each other. So it was just a very explosive match. Great showing from all the teams that came out today, all on this qualifying group. We do have another group to get into after this, but the leaderboard that we're going to get into and see what the people standing is going to be very competitive. You saw these points are going to be within margins of each other because of how competitive everybody played to their win conditions. Bruvs with Mr. Hakulo here was one of my favorite moments, coming through with the Eva and then switching over to that flatline. Really great highlight. So many strong highlights from this broadcast.
Absolutely. That was a wild one. And Mad Dogs has absolutely earned quite a bit of respect and their position, because we already saw them when we were looking at the top end of the leaderboards. We already knew how wild they had been up until now, but wow, was that Mad Dogs game. Not to undersell our other competitors who we saw pop off quite a bit, but I mean, those numbers speak for themselves.
Exactly, 63. They were feeling so comfortable, really expanding upon that lead, like I said, and got 20 points over Complexity, who got second. And then this is where I was talking about that competitive nature that we saw, points being within the margins in that middle of the pack. TSS, somebody who we saw come in at the end of Game 2 and Game 3, very clutch, came all the way up to 3rd place on these final standings. Team Nestle, who was in the 1st place coming into this bout, did manage to sit on the podium. They're at 4th place, doing very solid for themselves. Bruvs, of course, great showing. U.S. Army Esports, amazing showing today, showed all of their strengths and deserved that placement. Dark Matter Black as well, great showing there in 7th. Trobros did amazing stuff, great cohesion between the team. The coercion, had a great coercion, trying to get that last cheeky game out of what was the Mad Dogs onslaught, but was unfortunately unable to with the caustic. And a perfect execution rounds out the 10th place with the 17 points.
Wow, that is absolutely wild. That's all I can say. That whole match was absolutely wild. And we saw some examples of what I was talking about, where there was an opportunity for some that were just on the just along the bottom there to get that extra bump ahead in points they needed. But you have to be concerned, because not only do you have to worry about matching up with the last score you saw, but the people that are ahead for a reason. And they're probably going to be dropping shots pretty well. Case in point with Mad Dogs, who went from good to great in terms of that leaderboard point total. But we did see a little bit of movement there. We saw some wild moments all the way through. Overall, that was a fantastic game, and we're only halfway done for today, which is, as a day, only halfway through this weekend.
Absolutely. Even tomorrow, we'll see 6 games between those top 20 teams. Seeing how many points they can rack up, how contentious that will be is yet to see. But we already know it's going to be a lot of very hungry competitors from what we've seen in our first games coming out. But we are going to get into a short break before we get into the second round of our qualifiers. The rest of our 20 teams that are lined up, ready to go, that have been laying so patiently await, are ready to get those teams fired up. We'll see you very shortly after that break and get into that second round.
Are you streaming on Trovo yet? We're welcoming streamers to become part of our exciting and supportive community, no matter how big or small. It's easy to use, has fun features, and is especially great for mobile gaming. Streamers can receive subscriptions, gifts from fans, and many more cash rewards. New Trovers can earn up to $380. Just use referral code Trovo Titans. That's TROVOTITANS in the Creator Studio to become a Trovo streamer. It's time to level up and start streaming on Trovo.
We're rewarding our community with coveted Titan points in North America, Latin America, and Europe. Titan points can turn into cash at the end of the Trovo Titan series. You can earn Titan points 3 ways. Join our Discord and hang out with the community. Your engagement will earn you automatic points. Play in our free-to-play online tournaments. The more you play, the more points you earn. If you place well in the tournament, you'll get bonus points too. Be part of the fun and earn Titan points today. We'll see you on the leaderboards. Visit trovotitans.live/titanpoints for more info. Looking to be the next great Trovo caster? Apply today for the Trovo Titans Community Caster Program. We're looking for dedicated Trovers who want to boost their following by casting some of our community tournaments right from your own channel.
back, and thank you so much for your patience with that break. We are about to get into the second round of this Apex Legends $10,000 closed qualifier that is here, sponsored by Trovo Titans. I still am Austin Champion, and this is still Caleb Browner. We're going to be going into what's going to be a very exciting bout between some new contestants. If you've been here since the beginning of the broadcast, we're switching it up. 20 new teams enter the fray and hope to get the best placement they can on that leaderboard with great placements in these battle royales. 3 battle royales will be what they will be dropping into, and it will be random maps. You have a trio situations where you have a great comps, a lot of options with those trio comps. We've seen a lot of great use of the Bloodhound and the Octane, as well as the Gibraltar potent combo that was used to get very far in our last bouts. But it's going to be the similar format to what we've seen previously. Going to see a lot of stuff coming out from what's going on, but we're mainly here to see what's going on with these Trovo Titan points as well. We have Trovo Titan points that these people are accumulating. We also have going to be many prize pools that are going to be coming out over the next month. You can see Trovo Titans Live, what schedule works for you at the events coming up, but these are free to enter community tournaments. There's a $250,000 collective prize pool and over 100 events that are going to be spanning across multiple regions. So no matter where you play at, no matter what server you tune in on, you're going to be able to get your shot at getting some of these Trovo Titans money prizes, as well as Trovo Titan points that you get from placing well in these. That get you also just more prizes. So just amazing stuff coming out from the platform. You see that the format we're running today has been a qualification of, and again, we said 20 more teams that will be trying to get into the top 10 teams of their set, so that they can be in the bout between the top 20 of everybody today. The culmination of all 40 teams, top 20 will be moving on for that true $10,000 prize pool that they'll be trying to break off from first place, taking home well over $3,000 amongst the 3 of them. And it's going to be just a highlight, also a big testament to your strength if you're able to even get that first place. So in that first we see that earlier today we saw Team Nestle, Xset, Brubs, Team FMS, U.S. Army Esports, Farm Boys, Legends Never Die, Conslep, A Perfect Execution, and Dentheads. They had a showing earlier, as well as the other side of the 20 teams that we saw earlier, where we got a lot of showing from them, a lot of teams that came out. It was going to be some friends like Elevate GG, Trobros, LN Demons, we don't know, Swerve, Iridescent, LND Clan, Schmovement Squad, Trash Cans, and Spacelanders. Earlier we got to see them, but we're going to be getting into our next teams. These are the next 20 teams going in, Caleb.
We have ourselves Leave No Witnesses. We have CSL, 3 Chicks, Hyper Reality Visor, Airstream Esports, Dark Matter White, The Coercion, Glock, Galaxy Vortex, and Monkey Mode 3B.
Absolutely, and we saw them actually play earlier, and then the teams that come into next, we have Char, Mad Dogs, Team Yes, Complexity is Taken, question mark, round 2, U.S. Army Academy, TSS, Ranked is Harder, they're letting them know that there's some free competition out here, Petite Soldiers, Bamboozled as always, and Dark Matter Black. So 40 strong, solid teams. We've seen that they're riddled with professional level talent. I've seen some CLG tags on there. I've seen all types of team tags, and there's all types of decoration between these two, and it's going to be that type of competition because they're trying to get that $10,000 prize pool. They're trying to get first place, $3,000 and $3,250 in their hands. Second place going to be breaking off just a little bit less than that. Third place at $1,050 between the 3 of them. You're going to be seeing fourth place taking home $750, fifth through seventh at $600, and eighth through 10th taking home $300. So a lot of prize pool that is going to be given away just for you coming out and showing your passion in a game that you probably were already spending your Saturday morning playing. So it's going to be great to see either of these teams take that home tomorrow, and we're going to see who from these next 20 teams are going to be advancing.
Absolutely. I've spent a lot of weekends just putting the hours away on some of my favorite games. Never gotten $300 for it. And that's the least of what we are fighting for here in this upcoming match. So big props to everybody so far. There's definitely people, I've seen a lot of displays of talent that are worth getting some money for, certainly. And we're going to be getting to see who gets not just that, but the greater prizes even ahead. Sometime very soon with our first teams dropping. We have Team FMS on deck.
Team FMS on deck. You see they have a very aggressive flight pattern. Gonna take a little bit of time, but they had some loot in mind. They saw this opening here, and it's very uncontested. We'll see as this game starts to open up who wants to be a bit more aggressive, who starts to be in that more turtle mindset. We saw all types of play styles coming out from our last squad, so I expect nothing but the same from these teams.
Ranked is harder coming through. Getting their early game looting on. How many folks are they going to be competing with here? Looks like we got Dark Matter White in the vicinity as well, potentially ready for a quick engage. But for the time being, it shall not meet. How long that'll last, though, is uncertain. Dark Matter White getting some sonar detected there, going out. We got some ability. Again, mobility, not quite mobility, but visibility and getting people marked. These sonar abilities, Blood Hunt, things like that. We had a crypto through as well earlier. Any means of getting eyes on your opponent has been absolutely pivotal here and is a very, very big part of the current metagame. We are seeing such a strong emphasis being placed on that. That wasn't always the case. I could think back to not all that long ago when I was talking about how dominant Pathfinder was at the point in time. The lineup was Pathfinder, Wraith, third slot optional. Generally speaking, you're going to put a Bangalore in there. You might see a Lifeline or something like that, but you weren't often seeing, you're seeing them here and there, but it wasn't a mainstay for folks like Blood Hunter that we are seeing now.
Yeah, that information is just proving so useful. You see that ability to mark out your targets as well with the ultimate. Just be so crucial in those clutch moments. Just having a bit of visibility in the chaos that is ultimate ability spray from the Legends. But we see a nice firefight coming out. Trash cans are getting absolutely approached on pinched there from all angles. U.S. Army Academy able to take a very clean win in that firefight, able to top up their loot and get some nice free evos on their gear as well due to all the damage that they dealt.
Nice hit there from Dio. Another right after. He's doing some solid damage. Accurate on these single shots there. Only missed the once.
Iron Sight Sentinel for the gods, just clicking these downtown.
When you got it, you got it.
So clean, just so much precision in that. That's not the shot that you want to be trying to look for, but making it look easy. U.S. Army Academy feeling very comfortable now, even to approach as it cracked the shields, know that the enemy team is on retreat, and they've got already bloodlust in their eyes as they've claimed some lives early in this bout. They're feeling risky.
Hyper Reality Visor sliding through. Sounded like an alternate name for the Virtual Boy and looking like they might have the skills necessary to go down here. U.S. Army Academy, of course, as we have already seen and already are very well aware of, doing very good there. Sister team, one could say. The U.S. Army Esports really, really balled out earlier in this match, but I'm feeling good things from them as well.
Good thing so far, feeling aggressive and feeling comfortable doing so. That's a great tell for a deep run in a battle royale, especially when you get 3 opportunities. You want to be practicing aggression. You want to be feeling comfortable in the fights, especially early when you're not so equipped. We see now Farm Boys, though, doing what they do, farming up very beautifully. They have weapons in tow. You see the R4 and the Eva on that Wraith. Deadly combo, purple armor amongst all of them, and also just have a very devastating combo between those 3 champs.
U.S. Army Academy looking for their next chance to go through. Picking up some solid loot there, getting their space.
Phoenix kid here.
Meanwhile, got Farm Boys hunting as well. Just picking up some casual loot. Things are holding steady right now. This is another one of those ranges where we got a minute to breathe, a little bit of time, nothing too crazy happening just yet. With 17 squads left, we don't have anyone that is getting into any active brawls at the moment, looks like. Who knows, maybe somewhere out there on the map as we speak, someone is being gunned down. But we are not seeing it just yet. Instead, we're seeing a lot of teams with the ability to get very well prepped and ready to go. This is a contrast to our last match where we saw a lot of heat very, very quickly. But as you can point out in chat, it's a very methodical early game this time around.
Absolutely. The early aggression that came out from U.S. Army Esports was about all we got. U.S. Army Academy They just got a very nice pinch. They got some nice third party that they were able to cut off. But besides that, we're just seeing some really nice checking across the map. You do see Durrani got a nice down on Kafarak. We'll see what happens there. Is he able to approach? We'll see if they're able to see anything come from that. Already now we're seeing that fight seem to elevate. Twitch, I Strictly getting Shiki only, and Durrani getting the bleed out on Kafarak now. So we'll see if they're able to fully get the cool squad wipe on that side of the map. But we're following Dent Heads now as they continue to loot, as they continue to get a nice surveying on this outer perimeter of the circle, the first circle that's already shown itself. 2 minutes still until that closes off, so they're cutting off any loot opportunities for anybody that's coming into this side of the circle late.
Ourselves locked and loaded. We have, in fact, excellent play here. Bamboozled getting eyes on. I don't think we've gotten to see very much of Bamboozled at all, and yet here we are. It is good to see them in action. And it is, of course, good as well. See, we're going to get a chance to get a close look at Rampart. Haven't seen a lot of Rampart this entire... In fact, I believe this is the first time this tournament is particularly... But I haven't seen a whole lot of them, but I have been very pleased with what I've seen so far out of this character.
Yeah, Rampart, definitely a legend you have to respect in his own right. But we're seeing now that the U.S. Army Academy has now gotten a nice scope on that Sentinel. He's feeling comfortable now, progressing forward. And we're seeing the fights that are starting to ensue as more people are making their way to the circle from this northern side.
Absolutely booking here at the U.S. Army Academy. Taking a long trek across the map to get to their next opportunity to pick up some gear, pick up some equipment, and pick up a couple of kills. It looks like with some shots ringing out from deep. Who's that they're engaging with? Not certain, but they're coming over the hill right now, ready to get into it. You have Gibraltar coming in from below, Octane coming in from up top, Blood Hunter, who knows where, but close by, certainly you can see at the corner of my eye there, all together. Ready to push over the hillside. There's the enemy team, and if they see a vehicle going by, Firefly breaking out a lot of suppressive fire. Didn't see a lot of numbers popping up. I think they managed to get away with that without taking too much direct damage. You can see Farm Boys nearby coming up with the same hill, though. That's not them getting hit.
Yeah, very slow early game, starting to explode now, only at the first closing of this ring. So the circle is starting to show its explosive properties. We see U.S. Army Academy trying to approach as they're coming up the ramp. They tried to get a nice stranglehold on this position with the scouting coming out from Super Joan. We see it approaching too close, getting that spacing a little too far. They drop the Gibraltar ulti, but it's going to be difficult to play around right now. We see that Xset is trying to maybe kite out of the situation because they're starting to take a little bit too much damage than they want to deal with on that Gibraltar. He's going to be your main tank, and with him having no shields and no easy way to safely access those, is going to be a real easy callback to kite and get out of that situation. You see now he's able to get at least that shield cell starting to pop off. It was a shield bat, I believe. You get that full charge on the shield, and then they can start to look to reposition.
Bamboozled. And a couple of picks from deep there. Again, got that Rampart shield up, great cover, and a lot of distance. Not getting much, though, it seems like, from this angle. Whoever they're trying to gun down, being very precautious, not peeking too flagrantly.
Yeah, you see 3 barrels of those guns coming at that angle. You're not trying to place any body character models
by
in
any
that.
means.
See all the spray and pray coming out to that window. Definitely disengaging and finding another path. But we see CHR finding a little option here at the rift. There's a lot of options to move around the map as you sit at those portals. You can try and kite away as you try to get a cheeky little down. But we'll see what happens as CHR is going to be sitting very comfortably, trying to get a nice position there.
Target over there.
L&D Clan getting that good aerial visibility, just taking a nice long look at whether or not they can spot any movement anywhere around. Meanwhile, Team FMS is in, as you can see, just sort of going through. Sort of just taking not under active fire, but certainly well aware that there are things underway, that they are being watched. Currently, Octane bleeding out here at FMS, and we can see Gibraltar taking damage and going down. Something's happening. The fight's happening behind him, but he can't come up to join. Farm Boys, meanwhile, shooting uphill there. Excellent pick there. Oh, you're getting melted. Whoever that was is absolutely out of it.
That scout is so devastating. It's just showing the expertise of that point and click, laying those shots over and over again, cracking through shield, hitting to flesh. We see a crazy fight breaking out here from the farm boys. The Gibraltar ult coming out to try to clear out some of these exchanges there to get some of the, at least some of the breakup disjoint coming out. But farm boys tries to kite back into this building. You see at least 2 members get inside, possibly closing the door there. Farm boys, you see, oh man, Rakinishu trying to be a bit too aggressive with that shot. He tried to get all the shots off and unfortunately going to get ended off there. His 2 friends deep within that building, possibly going to look to recover the banner before he's gone, but it's going to be difficult as there's a lot of foes outside waiting for those doors to be open.
It's a slide. A lot of heat being taken there, a lot of shots being landed, and yet we're seeing some successful survival. CHR coming in, getting a little bit of pickups here. Got some health, got some shield bats, got themselves in a decent position. They're indoors, they're not being fired upon, but they do have the wall coming in from the side. They're gonna take a little bit of heat there just for the, they're picking up that loot. Vital and necessary, and they're able to get out of there without too much worry. They're not gonna take too much damage on the way out.
Mr. Hambino with the beautiful lob of that Octane jump pad, getting everybody to get safely out. A little bit of wounds sustained from that circle closing in, but they have great position sitting at that west side. Nobody is at the west side. Nobody is contesting them, so it's going to be really chill over there for now. And they do have an easy angle and approach upon that third circle, which is going to be closing in about 1 minute and 50 seconds. We'll see what happens as they try to make that approach if their angle does get cut off. But we see the teams now. We see Bamboozled sitting on the south side, feeling very comfortable. The Wraith and the Octane both feeling comfortable, and then they got the wall set up as well.
You're seeing a lot of potential here with Bamboozled. They've gotten certainly through a lot already. It's showing off they're utilizing, again, debuting the new legend that I'm so happy to see. And also debuting quite a bit of distance skill. We're seeing some beautiful sniping off of that team, so they're going to be able to cover things very, very well until we get up close. In which case, in case you're unfamiliar, that minigun ult of Ramparts is going to be very pivotal. I'm very excited to see that pop off and how much that damage that can do here. Dark Matter White with a great setup that has been the tried and true right now. But you're looking at the meta game with Gibraltar, Octane, and Bloodhound.
They can hunt you down, and they can also be so safe. It can be so frustrating to try to deal with. We see it so potent.
Absolutely.
We've seen it have deep runs, 13 squads remaining as this game unfolds. It's been a very slow-paced game. Loot has been acquired. We have seen great gunfights so far, but in general, compared to that first group that we saw today, a lot slower pace, a lot more checking, and a lot more kiting back as opposed to taking a fight when you're not really looking to take the full fight.
See some indoor setups going through there. Just a moment of precaution. Again, that moment to breathe. With 12 squads left, rather. Many more seconds than that, my goodness. There's going to be a lot of firefighting still going through these last few moments. But there's a brief moment of... You know, I was about to say brief moment of calm. What do I see in the next team swap? We see Farm Boys mid-hunt. Ooh, hostiles detected indeed. As they are in a close quarters firefight. It looks like something's about to break out there. We have CHR looking for people coming in, trying to escape the storm, and they're getting a couple of successful hits on somebody coming through. They're still outside of the storm, and taking that much damage is not a good situation for them.
Farm Boys went from farming items to absolutely farming fights. They've been inside of every little skirmish that we've seen across the map now, but CHR have very devastating combo. They're showing how laser focused this firepower can be. They hit you with most shots. You're not sitting there with them down your sights, and you're going to be able to just take unchecked damage. We see now, as they're going to continue on this fight, going to possibly be looking to get into that Gibraltar. Risk. Very risky approach on that skill that goes up. The shield is devastating to approach.
That was a great advance until the Gibraltar threw up the shield. After that, it became very, very difficult. You saw they took some heat there, but they just might still be able to complete this advance successfully. They're taking a lot of damage there, though. The Gibraltar ult's coming in. We do have the Octane back up, CHR back on their feet, ready to get back into the fight, but they've got bad angles now. All of a sudden, it's not just sliding in and catching somebody off guard from the flank. This is now a firefight. Both teams with good cover, both teams with everybody on their feet. Farm Boys, however, now has the Wraith down and are trying to recover, and they're being pressed out upon. CHR trying to come over the hill, but they're getting great retaliatory fire there, and yet it looks like CHR is absolutely taking the win here. Just a little bit too much heat for Farm Boys to deal with, and they are down.
CHR using the terrain there so perfectly, poking down Farm Boys from afar, then using the sliding potential to continue the hellfire, and then getting that perfect approach on the ledge. Once you get the one knock, start to slowly mow them down as you have the high ground. No one takes the high ground and does not come out as a victor, as we've seen in these exchanges, except for that US Army Esports.
I was about to say,
but
never forget. Never forget.
That was the full failings. They had multiple options covered. They showed the Revenant's utility in that, and we don't see no Revenant in that exchange there. You gotta play safer.
Absolutely. As we see again, once again, in chat, popping off, Farm Boys taken out to pasture. You can't do them like that. But with our competitors still out there, we have 10 squads left, including, as you can see, CHR still limited up. And as you can see, getting themselves into a fight around the corner here, hunting down some foes and getting somebody cleared out. Back down to 9 squads now, with another fight breaking out once again.
CHR so comfortable in these exchanges. They have great target ability. They're all looking for the same person, mowing you down. They're going to approach together as a unit. They layer out their units as well. Darani has fallen, but they continue to advance. Hambino and I Strictly continue to have plenty of shield, as they do have those red shields already charged up from how much damage they have racked up on enemy legends this bout. But we'll see if they can continue this rampage as they're sitting kill leader in hand. 9 squads left to go.
Around the corner, CHR looking for their chance to sneak in, and then it's getting stuck up on it. Someone comes around. Beautiful flame there by the Wraith, but unsuccessful ultimately. CHR still alive, but heavily down. That Octane is about to drop as well. Gibraltar shield melted. Octane's all alone. And that appeared to be it for CHR. Such a strong showing earlier on, but they got flanked hard, successfully repelled the flank, but it drew attention away just enough from the front line for a very successful push.
We can't forget to mention LND. LND was doing such amazing things this entire time. They had so many options. They had a lot of things farmed up. They were just going under the radar for a moment and then take up who seemed to be the top competitor. They take down the kill leader and now are sitting very comfortably center circle.
Absolutely. Dark Matter White out here in our final 6. Keeping a close eye out there. Something's coming over that hill. Someone, something, whatever it is going to be, whoever it's going to be, is going to be a lot. They're behind cover here. Don't want to get out into the open without knowing whether the opponent's going to be coming from the right or left side here. But one way or another, here they come. Dark Matter White 2 posted up to move here. 6 squads left. Where is going to be the first approach?
There are 6 squads, so at least 3 of them are missing a member. We might be down to 1 person with 1 member, but that person will be definitely trying to play safe. I believe it would be. But just like that, more people falling. We see now 13 people left as 6 squads remain, so more and more individuals getting picked off, more and more contestants falling as this first game comes to a close. Round 5 of this circle begins to close in 30 seconds. You start to see the heat insanely turned up, and we already are down to 5 squads. So we can only see more and more pressure begin to build. There's already 5 hostiles detected in front of Xset. Xset sitting very comfortably, as we see, man. There's a lot of options they have, and they have a lot of shield, and I'm sure a lot of reserves to charge those back up.
A lot of hits coming in from deep. Xset behind the protective wall that is a Gibraltar ult for a few moments before coming in with a successful hit, trying to go with the grenade toss there. And we can see if manages to flush him out over to the other side of the wall, tries to get a hit there, gets a little bit of something, not a whole lot, but they're able to advance. They got the Gibraltar bubble up, giving themselves some protection, hunting down that final person. 4 squads left as they circle the wall, looking for other folks. That looks like another squad getting finished off as we speak, as a couple of Moments of prep work there. Elevate GG is hunting as well. Except behind this wall has a good degree of cover. The storm is right to the right side. Don't have to worry about someone approaching from there. So they have a precious seconds of prep time.
X set is set to put us to the next set. The way they are playing so well with this lead, have so much gear, so many things now in tow from the last loot that they're able to pick up. They have a lot of pressure too inside of the center of the circle. They are going to be able to go wherever they want. They know exactly where it's going to be. They don't mind sitting here aggressively rotating as well because they know that they're feeling comfortable in fights and they find out their prey just like that.
Absolutely excellent. Trying to peek. Get an opportunity here. Xset gonna bail hard and go sailing away. Successfully returning to the relative safety of his team in close proximity. Meanwhile, the team circling 3 squads left. There's only so many more people that could be out there. So many places they could be hiding. And we see a couple of things already. They've identified that house across the way as being home to some enemies. Are we going to see the push anytime soon? Are they going to wait for them to come to their territory? Wait for them to have to leave that house, which will be sometime soon. Looks like they're keeping eyes on it. You can see the people inside. They're going for the peek.
Just watching the fight unfold, giving a bit of gentleman's pleasure, not making sure to, you know, infiltrate on that fight. Possibly looking as they start to peek out from this house as the circle closes in to start to mow people down, finding great angles on everybody. You see that mobile respawn beacon as well has been popped. So even if somebody does eat a cheeky charge rifle shot and gets downed and some crazy amount of pressure is pressed from there, they have to go into the full just canoe. They are tunneling. They can. But you see Elevate GG getting some crazy shots out of the sky there.
Coming in from above, the smallest circle. One can imagine it is do or die time. Gibraltar bubbles everywhere, all well protected, trying just to escape the also simultaneous Gibraltar ults. Before we get into these engagements, the moment of truth is coming here. But once again, guess who has a high ground? It is Xset, able to fire down from above, getting some excellent connects there. A lot of damage raining down. A lot of it going to be head targeted here. This doesn't look good. Elevate GG, they're jumping up, trying to engage in melee. It's all the chance they have, but it will not work out. You cannot win, Anakin. They have the high ground.
The battle of the wall, the circle at your back, getting kicked in the face by your enemy. Just absolutely insane. What a great ending to what was a very methodical and consistent, just thorough game from all of those squads. That was just so fun to watch. I really enjoyed how that circle was closed. That's the whole narrative there at the end was just honestly great mix of humor and just everything that we want to see from the end of a closing circle, man.
Absolutely. It was wild. Look at these highlights. It was a great game, start to finish. But again, talking about the methodical start, the easier your start is, the more laid back people are at the beginning, the more people that will survive till the mid, meaning the more intense those moments will be. You gotta saw through a lot of health. But honestly, even at the end, we maintained a certain degree of care and precaution, where there was a lot of steady advancing. There was a lot of being very cautious with peaks. A lot of you saw Octane using that ability to come ahead, scout things out, and then retreat. Giving a couple shots in, nobody getting too crazy.
Yeah, and we see how CHR were the kill leaders. They were doing amazing things, but when they lost this fight against LND was able to clean up that fight. Xset emerged as the champions. They emerged as the people that were the team to beat. We saw them have an insane lead on farm. They had a great little skirmish here where they were able to clean up the 4th squad to make sure that they were sitting atop this king of the hill situation, where even though we saw a great approach from Elevate GG, Xset's pressure and just positioning there on that high ground, the testament of this entire tournament we've seen so far, was much too heavy for them to deal with.
It was a wild watch in action, and we are still only getting started. How many games was that? 5, 89, 62? It feels like a lot, but it was not just the first of our second set of 3.
Nah, man, that was the first. That was the first of many battles. I feel like maybe we'll even see the tempo start to pick up. Xset does secure 23 points in that first place. CHR with 16 points. Elevate GG, 11 points, tied with the Dark Matter White and LND Clan. Solid middle of the bracket there. Anything could break up from those middle that we see there. LN Demons at 10 points. Farm Boys, who we saw farming all types of experiences, sitting at 7th with 9 points. Bamboozled, as always, feeling a little bit bamboozled, as I said, with 8 points at 8th place. A little bit of synergy there, so perhaps we'll see a nice elevation of the standings with that nice lineup. Glock 9 sitting at 9th place. Dense Heads as well, tied for that 9th place spot.
A lot of potential here, even for the lower end of things. We also, of course, have U.S. Army Academy pretty low down from how that match looked. And so I'm expecting big things for them in these next couple of matches here. We got Con Sleep, Hyper Reality Visor, Team FMS, Swerve, Monkey Mo 3B, CSL, Team Yes, Ranked is Harder, and Trash Cans.
Yes, Team Ranked is Harder and Trash Cans. I don't know. Trash Cans at least playing to their name. Ranked is Harder. I don't know. Maybe Ranked is still harder. They're not saying that this isn't hard in its own right. They're just saying Ranked is harder. So, nonetheless, they're gonna have a much stronger performance from that last bout if they want to see themselves getting into the qualification for tomorrow's experience. But for right now, we're gonna take a small 5-minute break and get ourselves readied up for the next excursion into the battle royale that is going to be transpiring next. So stay tuned. We'll see you very soon.
Are you streaming on Trovo yet? We're welcoming streamers to become part of our exciting and supportive community, no matter how big or small. It's easy to use, has fun features, and is especially great for mobile gaming. Streamers can receive subscriptions, gifts from fans, and many more cash rewards. New Trovers can earn up to $380. Just use referral code Trovo Titans. That's TROVOTITANS in the Creator Studio to become a Trovo streamer. It's time to level up and start streaming on Trovo.
We're rewarding our community with coveted Titan points in North America, Latin America, and Europe. Titan points can turn into cash at the end of the Trovo Titan series. You can earn Titan points 3 ways. Join our Discord and hang out with the community. Your engagement will earn you automatic points. Play in our free-to-play online tournaments. The more you play, the more points you earn. If you place well in the tournament, you'll get bonus points too. Be part of the fun and earn Titan points today. We'll see you on the leaderboards. Visit trovotitans.live/Titan points for more info. Looking to be the next great Trovo caster? Apply today for the Trovo Titans Community Caster Program. We're looking for dedicated Trovers who want to boost their following by casting some of our community tournaments right from your own channel.
enjoyed that short break. Welcome back to the $10,000 closed invitational here, sponsored by the Trovo Titans. We are going to be getting into our second game of this Group B in the qualifiers. I am Austin Champ, and this is my man Caleb Browner. We're going to look first at the leaderboard before we move forward with the gameplay that we have lined up. We did get to see Team X set take away an amazing first place victory in their lead. They did get a nice, I believe, 23 points on that. And then CHR was able to get that 16 points. So they're sitting very comfortable leading into the next set. We also, of course, have a nice toss-up there in the middle of the bracket. Literally anybody between 3 and 10 between those teams can see themselves getting into those third or second place spots with a great placement here in this next match.
There's a lot of potential with these competitors as well, just based on what we have seen. Bamboozled was doing some work out there, definitely could come through with a quick comeback. We can definitely see Dark Matter White and Elevate GG continuing to occupy that top 5 range, but there's plenty of competitors in the lower ranges here that, with 2 matches ahead, could make a comeback here, but it may be a little bit more difficult because people that were high scoring in those first matches aren't going to be lower scoring here on out. But we do have U.S. Army Academy, Consleep, Hyper Reality Visor, Team FMS, Swerve, Monkey Mode 3B, CSL, Team Yes, Ranked is Harder, and Trash Cans.
Right, amazing lineup that we have. And like you mentioned, it's going to be possible for these teams we see there to get into that upper side of the standings, but it will be that much more difficult. 2 games remain in this qualifier that we have. Only 10 teams will be continuing on to the sets that we have going on tomorrow for that $10,000 prize pool. So we'll see what's going to happen as life goes on for Ranked is Harder as they drop in, taking a bit of a more aggressive path, going very, very far to get some bit more spacing possibly to not get knocked out as early as they saw in that first go. But CHR hitting the ground early, getting stocked up, trying to get aggressive like we've seen them do in that last game.
Here we go again. Time once again to see, because there's a couple of competitors where I really feel like getting off to a bad start, just getting into a really intense engagement early on can make things look worse for your team than they really are. So I'm excited to see with different drops, with different matchups in regards to who ends up close together at the beginning of the match, whether or not we're going to get to see somebody really go the distance in this game who got cut off very, very early on. I absolutely think it can happen. And I'm excited to see who those names are going to be. At the same time, though, like folks like U.S. Army Academy, I absolutely believe have the ability to be higher in the rankings by the end of this than we have here currently. Xset is an example of was doing well last game, and I can't imagine it's going to start doing poorly by any means, but they definitely might be facing some late game opponents from last match earlier on and might not be able to endure as long as possible. Might get doubled up on. You never know how things are going to go when there's still this many squads on the table, but there's a lot of damage there that they're putting on someone. Just getting peppered from a distance.
Doing some really cheeky shots on the Eva there, just taking 7 away. The spray so far, not even bothering to aim down sights, just showing that we've won this fight, sending the message, you will be the first squad possibly taken off this map. One person did survive from the team that Xset was hunting down. We didn't get to see a name on that as they continue to fall, but we'll see if they're able to come back. You have 2 banners to get difficult to grab and get as well 2 of those recon beacons with the pressure that you see around you. So gonna have to be very elusive gameplay coming out, but still nice 20 squads remaining, so nobody taken out yet.
No, somebody's over there, bamboozled, trying to get the angles necessary, but there is a Gibraltar bubble in there. You are not getting through to anything, my friend. Not from a distance, at least. L&D Clan, meanwhile, is getting themselves in position for a little bit of clearing that area. Team FMS overlooking where we know our former on-camera squad is headed. Meanwhile, way out elsewhere, we have U.S. Army Academy also just doing some rotation, just getting up from one place to another. Once again, we have ourselves a nice, calm, and collected start. We had a couple of firefights here, but things aren't popping off just yet.
Right, that was U.S. Army Academy, actually, that was retreating, losing 2 members. So it was the squad that's sitting on the backest of us, that Octane able to get out with the speed. But unfortunately, the rest of the U.S. Army Academy squad going to have a tough time trying to get any type of revive or anything. He has to retreat, he has to get away. And we see Denheads getting a nice position on top of the hill there. But unfortunately, already with down 1 member, we're going to have to see them play a bit more safe if they're trying to get past the apex of these first 10 squads jumping out.
Dentheads coasting it down the slope there. Taking a lot of damage as they do, but Gibraltar throws out that bubble, gets in some clearance. We have, meanwhile, LN Demons facing some pressure from behind. The CHR hunting them down. It looks like they're in a little bit of trouble here. Not too much, but certainly enough to be precautious. CHR laying down some suppressive fire as they mobilize from one spot to another. Charging, bailing ahead. Launch pad is dropped and the team is in flight. Making eyes on immediately, but there they find their prey, come in swinging, and immediately pop out. There's a lot of damage getting off on somebody right off the bat.
CHR is not the squad you want jump batting into you, finding you with all the aim down sight, just finding a very devastating approach. And this fight is not going to be gone without contention. We see them getting a lot of firepower eaten back, a lot of people playing around the Gibraltar bubble, but still CHR is seeming a bit on the offensive and still in the advantage on this exchange. But they're going to know that they're out of firepower. They're missing 1 member. They need to kite back. They need to not lose anybody else. Ranked is harder, sitting, firing the bow, trying to find a bit more of these cheeky little takes off of the health bars of CHR as they retreat, but nothing gonna come from it.
Is quite the engagement there. CHR, like I said about our high-ranking teams in general, they're not going to start playing bad. And so you're going to have to really step up to be able to reclaim any points lost out on earlier in the match. We get the long jump there with Octane, clearing some real distance, taking a couple of shots mid-transit. They'll take a little bit of heat. Fortunately, he's got some backup. There's Gibraltar taking shots from afar. Looking to get somebody down there. 17 squads left. We are diving ahead, bearing down on a team that's already taken some damage, but also running into enemy territory as a result.
On the ropes there, we see Team FMS struggling in this exchange, getting approached now by, I believe that was Team XSET, who was starting to get all those kills, just racking up the kills now, already sitting between the members around 5 or 6 kills. XSET just showing a dominant performance through these BRs thus far.
Looking it ahead. And a little bit of looting done. Team Yes, meanwhile, further out. Also keeping an eye on that wall behind them as they try to get some pickups and try to get some distance.
The wingman shots devastating from the roof, hailing down like bullets from the roof. And I don't want to eat any of those. Getting the armor almost cracked, having to retreat around that corner. We're seeing things stabilize a bit as people continue to skirmish it evenly, but squads are not falling as quickly as we saw them early. XSET continuing to rampage, be the one that is taking squads off the map as they move so smooth through these transitions. It seems like they're on the back foot often, but they're also still the ones hitting knockdowns on the way out. See their name following up on that kill feed time and time again. 16 squads remain, and between the 3 members, what looks to be 4 members, they have like 5 or 6 KP, 7 KP I believe at this point. So really smooth play coming out from them. Glock 9 looking to kite back and revive some of their members from their exchange. They have some kills in tow as well.
Elevate GG. Taking some heat from afar. And unfortunately, a little bit too much heat, it looks like. CHR continuing to be a deadly force that just emerges, just sweeps in from what feels like nowhere and does you in. even with the high ground advantage, it feels like you're walking into a death trap, but they do successfully get the Gibraltar down. CHR, however, retaliating, doesn't get the kill and gets the Gibraltar back up. How long have we spent pointing out? So now there's two teams that have demonstrated for us the counterplay to the high ground advantage. We've had U.S. Army Esports and Team CHR.
Energy ammo here.
Two testaments to advance in charge, my friends. Stand behind me, and together we can even trample an advantage like that high ground, which is proven to be such a potent stunter of aggressive energy. It's so many times you see these approaches thwarted from somebody with that high ground, but just like that, CHR clean up an amazing skirmish, get themselves to eliminate another squad. And honestly, that was a very explosive last minute and a half on the map. We saw, I believe, 2 squads get decimated in those exchanges. We didn't get to see what happened across the map, but CHR showing that aggressive potential and that target laser focus that they're able to switch between targets so well.
Taking a peek from afar, keeping our eyes out on where we can make this advance. Dark Matter White in a tricky spot here, knowing very well there's likely people being pushed up, coming up on either side of them, particularly off to the angle we're looking right now through that tunnel around there. I definitely, in their situation, would be expecting somebody to coming through there, just trying to make their way into the next circle any minute now. We're not getting anything just yet. Instead, we have Team CHR making their way through the mine pass quickly as possible. Definitely about to walk into someone's line of sight, but I'm sure they are well prepared for that eventuality, ready to fire back. As you can see, shots going through there. They have been sonared, but they're advancing regardless, undeterred. If the enemy knows where you are, you may as well come to them. No point in trying to have the protracted fire from behind cover.
Hambino feeling very comfortable using the Octane skill to try to get in there with that Eva and get a lot of damage racked up. Was able to even retreat without dropping the shield. Very crucial weaving in and out of that fight coming out from Hambino, and that's left unchecked. We see now in that choke how they're able to do a bit more damage, and they're putting Dark Matter White in an awkward situation, but they're not having too much trouble continuing to hold their ground.
Not at all. Dark Matter White is in a tough spot here. Caught between a rock and a hard place in the cave as they approach. Get Bot Hunter's ult up. Once again, do some scanning. They've got Gibraltar's ult and ability, keeping him at bay. That's about it. Spony is not behind the cover. With the bubble filling up so much of the open space, it is an excellent shield, particularly in these close quarters environments.
Alpha not able to be the first one to fall, and from there, Hambino feeling comfortable to continue unloading upon the team and now racking up 8 kills to his name. That is a full carry, a kill leader to be respected on the map right now. Hambino and team popping off. We see Xset unloading beautifully. Klain feeling so comfortable in that choke there. 3 or 4 hitboxes across the characters, the legends that were lined up in that doorway. Insane use of that, and then able to kite out perfectly, get the recharge on the shield, use the team and just the spacing very well.
In the head,
Might be something good this
Farm
time.
Boy is advancing. We'll get up top and gladly survey the surroundings. We got Bloodhunter once again on the advance, on open charge, but not quite seeing anybody just yet. The team rotating out, however far ahead they'll go here. And making good use of that ability to survey. Keeping a close watch out for absolutely anything that pings. So being so vitally important in this match, in this meta game, which we currently occupy.
We see so much of the kills between Xset and Hambino, just Hambino by himself, not even the whole team. Exit have 17 KP here on Rambo, 12 on Klein. Just insane how just 2 squads have been able to dismantle the entire map. We're gonna definitely see those 2 teams place high. It's honestly at this point a testament of how close you want to get to their line of fire, how close you want to put yourself in danger's way to contest these legends, to contest these squads that are on a rampage through this second game and try to throw them off their game.
Get ready for another close encounter here. Xset barreling ahead. Looks like in potential range for something to go through there with Bamboozled sometime soon as we approach our final, not quite final, but we're getting closer and closer ahead to the next circle as the gap between people starts to become more and more narrow. Only 8 squads left. Once again, we have a decently well-stocked final few moments for this match that are no doubt going to be just as chaotic as the last.
Chaotic, exactly. Xset prioritizing the movement into the circle on that last 2 minutes of round 3. We see the circle now beginning to close in, and we'll see people begin to camp up. Wow, what a beautiful shot from the flat line across the map. Just one tick, just grabbing 46 off the purple shield, just showing the timing of that drop shot, showing the expertise in the mechanics of this game. Very difficult to do, especially in these settings, these online settings that we have. Kudos to Rakinisha on that flat line.
As we see opponents well under watch, and knowing they're under watch, with Eyes of the All-Father giving vision. Farm Boys just prepare for an advance, but are they? Who knows what lurks inside? We can see already there's Rampart in there. We can see the barriers being highlighted by Bloodhunter's ability.
Farm Boys finding a lot more success in their playstyle in this run. You see that Arc start taking crazy amounts of damage, and they're feeling comfortable to start pressing this advantage that they built up. That Rampart barrier gonna be devastating and stopping what could have been a crazy onslaught of pressure though.
Absolutely, but the Gibraltar ability blocking off the doorway entirely, so now we find ourselves in an impasse.
Impasse indeed. Whose spawn will be taken, we'll never know. We do know that CHR is going to be caught out in rotation here. Hambino is now going to be bleeding out. Sitting there with those 11 kills, you do not want to be the one dying on your squad. It's very difficult to start getting those revives in, as we're already seeing that 4th circle start to tick down.
CHR. Octane's hurt in a bad way here, but not doing too bad. Staying mobile. And keeping himself protected behind 2 teammates that are well stocked on health and shield at the moment. Meanwhile, with Bamboozle, we're seeing again, one person is down by a little bit, and that's about it. There's a lot of people that are locked and loaded, ready to go. Meaning that with 5 squads left, we are still sailing towards a pretty intense final few firefights.
You see we have the scouting also taken by CHR. They see where that pinpoint circle is going to be, so they are already getting the positioning on it, starting to scout out what's going around, seeing if there's anything that they can pick up on the way. Maybe it will be telling to the other teams that they have that information, and they're going to want to approach them before it gets to that point so that they're not having to approach when the last moment has ticked, when that circle is starting to tick in damage, when the turtling has just accumulated too much that it's an avalanche instead of the small snowball that you could easily stomp out.
Keeping close eye down that bridge. Gets a bit of a peek there. Topping off just to make sure. Sonar detected all around. Everyone knows where everyone is, but nobody wants to be the first to stick their head out just a little bit. Trying not to be baited, and yet here we are, this fight going through. Xset getting some very solid damage off there.
Huge Eva shots
blending
coming.
well together.
see them starting to clean up their fight now. Xset was just so well equipped for these bouts. You see that their shields are so charged. They have batteries, Phoenix kits, med kits, everything in the reserves. All of the attachments are expertly placed. You see everything is fully modded and hand selected. These are comfort picks. You can tell that they were able to farm the map for exactly what they wanted with how many kills they were able to secure. So as we're down to the 4 squads left, as we're down to the final seconds of this 5th circle, and they begin to continue this aggression on anybody caught out of rotation, I could see them easily sitting comfortably again to take first place.
Here comes Xset. Once again with some high ground advantage and full vision. Oh my God! Absolutely dirty shot there. Big hit for big damage. That one down. Once again, they've got good visibility on their opponents here. Free to call in that very accurate Gibraltar ult at that. CHR has to dive ahead. They can't stay there. They barrel through, come ahead, and it's an all-out firefight. They're duking it out, but Xset is fully stocked. Gibraltar is the only one even with shields completely down.
So much firepower lined up, a great approach to some great damage. Shields are taken, but the resource reserve is intact. They begin to start popping those bats, get those med kits going, and there's not going to be any substantial pressure that's put onto Xset as they sit here. We do see Team Yes sitting under the bridge having a wonderful time. They're going to start to be able to pick up anybody that does fall down there, but they do get turned on.
It's heating up here. 2 squads left. Xset alone. Somebody else is coming in from afar. Coming in on top and once again facing heat as they try to advance and try to get those shots from ahead. Xset too well coordinated to be snuck up on like that. Only got 2 members. That's all they need to survive against the final member of one other squad at the very end there to take another squad down.
Convincing win all around from now 2 showings from Xset. They are versatile. They can get through early games comfortably, get their farm, get to their builds, and then turn those builds and comfortability in the endgame fights into insane mowing down of their competition. They are relentless in those pursuits.
Absolutely brutal. Folks, I don't have to tell you Xset is pulling through with some numbers. They are absolutely, at this point, I'm willing to call earlier that they've earned their spot in tomorrow's game. It's impossible for them not to with gameplay like this. And nothing is knocking them down, and now so our competitors are just going to have to be prepared to face off against teams like these. But again, reflecting on the fact that it's not just them, CHR truly going the distance here as well, continuing to show that their progress is nice and steady. There were no flukes involved in that last game, clearly, because a lot of the big names we saw there continue to be big names here in our second game, and that speaks volumes about how well they're going to be performing tomorrow.
Xset found a really great opportunity here on, I believe this was the U.S. Army Academy team. They knocked down 2 and put their Octane on the back foot. He had to run to the hills. From there, it was just a clinic by them. Farm Boys had a nice deep run in this time. They made it to the final 6 squads. Unfortunately, weren't able to overcome the raid boss that was Xset this time. You see how many red shields they have. You see how much gunpowder and just ammo reserves they have, as well as healing potential. So it was going to be a tall order to continue to mow down those health bars. We saw teams come very close. We saw some shields cracked, but not enough when you got the Xset damage coming down, and that shield, gun shield that comes in from that Gibraltar is just so strong. He's just able to approach so slowly with the shield up and just mow down anybody that's taking any type of advantage on positioning.
Just getting walked down by Gibraltar, a tale as old as time. Many are familiar, myself included, folks. This happened to me too. It'll happen to you. But our competitors are going to find their way through regardless. So it's a lot of Gibraltars, but there's a lot of wins on deck already. So clearly the strategies are in place, and clearly our competitors are hype and ready for our next match. But before we get into that, clearly we need to take one more break so we have the patience and capability to deal with it.
Absolutely. Maybe we should take a break from Gibraltar's shield and try to get that, get mowed through that as we get a break in this 5 minutes to cool down getting into this next battle. So we'll be back very soon. Stay tuned.
you streaming on Trovo yet? We're welcoming streamers to become part of our exciting and supportive community, no matter how big or small. It's easy to use, has fun features, and is especially great for mobile gaming. Streamers can receive subscriptions, gifts from fans, and many more cash rewards. New Trovers can earn up to $380. Just use referral code Trovo Titans. That's TROVOTITANS in the Creator Studio to become a Trovo streamer. It's time to level up and start streaming on Trovo.
We're rewarding our community with coveted Titan points in North America, Latin America, and Europe. Titan points can turn into cash at the end of the Trovo Titan series. You can earn Titan points 3 ways. Join our Discord and hang out with the community. Your engagement will earn you automatic points. Play in our free-to-play online tournaments. The more you play, the more points you earn. If you place well in the tournament, you'll get bonus points too. Be part of the fun and earn Titan points today. We'll see you on the leaderboards. Visit trovotitans.live/titanpoints for more info. Looking to be the next great Trovo caster? Apply today for the Trovo Titans Community Caster Program. We're looking for dedicated Trovers who want to boost their following by casting some of our community tournaments right from your own channel.
Welcome back to the Trovo Titans $10,000 closed invitational that we have going on. We're going to be getting into the final game of these qualifiers going in. We're going to be seeing another amazing set, no doubt, from the teams coming out. They will be looking to get into contention for that cash prize that's going to be going into competition for tomorrow, but they'll also be trying to get more of their Trovo Titan points. The Trovo Titan points are easy to accumulate. You could get them through competing in these free-to-enter community tournaments that we have, and they're going to be over $250,000 in the collective prize pool going on. There's going to be so many events to enter, and you can also even get points hanging out in the Discord, competing in the tournaments like we just mentioned, or just doing more of the awesome incentives that we have all around. So just stay linked in. Follow us at all of our socials at Trovo Titans. Link in at TrovoTitans.live, and you see the North American Titan leaderboard board that we have going on. Cross is leading. Really nice 34-point lead, but Evil's not far behind, 30 points. Life, Sly, and Zellower all have 25 points, as well as Beg, T-Rich, Pierce J, all sitting at that nice tie for third place, showing how much they are vying to get into that third place podium spot. Toxic and Poxer are both going to be sitting at 8th and 9th, and Super Curb as well, 20 points, but going to be rounding out that top 10. The North American Titans are doing their best to make sure that they're getting what they can out of these points and get into those rewards. And with the upcoming events that we have, Fortnite solos, Brawl Stars 3v3s, the Pokemon Unite 5v5 that has me hype, August 8th, there's so many opportunities that you have to be racking up Titan points and get your chance at these rewards and get some recognition. So stay tuned. Like we said, stay tapped in on all of our socials. You know where it's at Trovo Titans, and of course, TrovoTitans.live. But we're going to be getting into quite the game as we get into this, Caleb. How you feeling about what's about to unfold?
I am feeling excited. I know exactly how this is going to look. I get the feeling it has been so constrained, one can say, up until a certain point in both of our last matches. That calm before the storm, that quiet, that stillness in the air where all you hear is the wind coming through the trees of Kings Canyon and the gentle, distant sound of a magazine being reloaded, knowing that mere moments away is the bright flash of that bubble going up, the hail coming down of a Gibraltar alt, the chaos coming through it, and in the end, one team left standing. We've seen it time and time again, and that brief pause before the intensity, that moment of anticipation has been wonderful to savor these past couple of games, and I know with a lineup like this, we're going to be getting it a third time.
Well, Mr. Browner, if anybody is like me, they're sitting at the edge of their seat, absolutely captivated by the wordsmithery that you just concocted for us, man. Beautiful picture painted. I'm looking forward into what we have going on. The game will be going on very shortly. We know that they are eager to get another shot at getting a very high placement to try to secure some of these points in the qualifier. We will be opening up this event, of course, same time tomorrow with 6 games from our top 20 teams between the Group A and Group B that we've seen today. So it's going to be nothing but great Apex Legends lined up this weekend. You gotta stay close. You gotta follow. You gotta stay tuned to see what's going on.
Absolutely. It is... Trust me, with this being how things get started, this is how we select the roster for our next match. Please don't miss it. You're going to regret it. But you are going to be very, very excited to see who comes through with these wins. We got a lot of teams out there, like I said, all of whom are vying for dominance. And honestly, as much as we have seen some very clear potential favorites for the match ahead, I'm not seeing any guaranteed wins here. There's a couple of people I'm like, oh, you're unstoppable. But there's too many of them for there to be any guarantee. So we still have a lot to be decided here. It's not going to be a sweep for anybody.
I think that we speak of favorites. I instantly think of Xset. Xset did win the last 2 BR drops. They, undisputably, numbers don't lie. They would be considered favorites going into this third one. I feel the way to cut off their win condition is not to let them farm. We see them so early with these insane shield farms and all the items and gun collection that they want spattered amongst their carries. So after that, they begin to rack up kills. They start to just chip off some of the opposition, and it becomes very difficult to deal with this Xset team. They know how to get that recon off on the Bloodhound and get the knowledge on those final circles and get inside and know what's going on. I told you that they had that pinpoint positioning. They knew where to go. They held it down beautifully. They didn't even necessarily have to hold it down. I believe they just started chasing down enemies and just using what they could under the bridge to just mow down opposition. But XSET just showing what they can do to really be on that champion screen most consistently.
Absolutely. But I mean, there are, especially from, you know what, let's take a look at some of the highlights from Group A and give ourselves some perspective, because we've been on Group B. We have been completely captivated and enchanted by XSET, justifiably so. But remember this? Remember this one? Let's take a look back at one of my favorite moments over the course of the entire day. And let's put once again some respect on the name for U.S. Army Esports for pulling this off. It's wild. Like, I look back on that game and I enter a fugue state, and this is all I can think of.
It's like the Jon Snow send the Battle of the Bastards, but his reinforcements were actually himself. Plot twist, his reinforcements cavalry.
It's just me again.
Was the Death Totem Revenant coming back and just providing so much utility, breaking through the Watson, breaking through that defensive stance that was created at top, that nice ramp situation. But we saw the end of that first game just end crazy. We saw how the chaos that ensued between the final four squads as that pinpoint circle was just too much to handle, and the win was taken away, and really is expertly.
Beautiful work done there. As we get a little bit of a distance and mobility here with ASE, we can see this wonderful firefight happening in and around that Gibraltar bubble. A careful dance being danced, the Samba of Death we saw in action there. We also saw Team Nestle showing off their ability to regroup, refocus, and get back into the action. Petite Soldiers we got to see earlier on as well. Great memories all around from a crop of competitors that showed us similar strengths. It was a lot wilder, I want to say, from start to finish for our Group A, and that it was constant chaos from the beginning. We saw, as a result, fewer squads at the very end. That gave them a little bit more room to breathe, but they were just so completely buck wild, they didn't take it to rest. They just barreled ahead further even more, and we still saw consistent action over the pace rather than the ebb and flow we get with Group B, and I'm just so excited to see how that blends together.
A bit of ebb and flow from Group B, but also just a bit of domination. XSET and CRG doing so much just having so many kills between their two squads. They had an absolutely insane time doing what they do best in these little skirmishes. They were having a great time just like finding really great positioning and making those advantageous for themselves. Trobros we see again from Set A that were doing so good at finding nice placements, even though they weren't able to get the most wins in fights and skirmishes. Sometimes they had to kite back with one or two people, but they still managed to get great placements. So shout out to Trobros. Team Nestle, the team that actually only people that outplaced XSET in those qualifiers to bring us here. We see they didn't have the best run. Team Nestle was actually kind of placed somewhat in the middle to lower tier on that first meeting of Group A. So I do believe they are progressing to tomorrow, that they will get a chance. But no, we see on Group B, XSET is far ahead, leagues ahead, 57 points locked in now. CHR, the second team that we had, of course, mentioned, doing amazing. Bamboozled, as always, holding strong at that third spot. But you see the difference in points between second to third. XSET and CRG are definitely a league ahead.
This is wild to look at. I mean, the gap between third and second alone feels like an ocean, but there are still spots there as a result that are up for grabs potentially. That could see people sailing ahead. We got Team FMS, we got Team Yes, we got U.S. Army Academy, Con Sleep, Hyper Reality Visor, CSL, Swerve, Ranked is Harder, Monkey Mode 3B, and Trash Cans, with some difficulty ahead of them, but the potential for somebody to maybe get a big step ahead, get into that winner's circle, and get into our next game tomorrow.
The teams that are on that first to 10th place don't have much more points than them. Of course, first and second do, but third to 10th is very open. There are 7 spots that are easily attainable if you play smart, get great positioning, and do what you can do best. We'll see, of course, a lot of Gibraltar, a lot of Bloodhound in that third spot being left open, usually to Octane, it seems, so far in the meta that has transpired in Group B. But sometimes it's been the Wraith, sometimes it's been the Watson, or we've seen that Rampart come in as also a very niche pick.
XSET getting themselves ready to rumble once more. And here we are, folks, that ever-present moment. Perhaps I'm speaking too soon because you never know when somebody could be around the corner about to pop off with the firefight right at start. But this is that calm before the storm. This is that moment where we see Dark Matter White sailing on over to greener pastures here. Another opportunity to get some looting done. U.S. Army Academy doing some clearing, some picking up as well.
Exet already so set up. We're still seeing teams drop. I already saw them picking up gold loot, picking up 4th level armor, just getting so many advantages while teams are still trying to even find their position. But Twitch Hambino, CRG already opening up with a lot of kills. Durrani doing a nice little finish, or Hambino even doing a finish. Durrani, I was right. Doing that finisher there on Era Hip Hop 452. Starting to eliminate that squad very early.
Round. CHR gets a little bit to pick up on a couple of things. Monkey and 3B, Monkey Mouth 3B getting their gear together as well. Really curious to see. Got Peacekeeper, RE, 33rd repeater. We got an R99 at the hands of somebody. And a fight breaking out here. We can see someone's health already starting to melt. Hyper Reality Visor is under heat. That Octane is not gonna live through that hallway. Just got caught at a bad angle. Teammates not in sight, unfortunately.
Even though these light characters don't take that increased damage anymore, Octane will not have the armor needed or the health bar to suffice through that onslaught of the offensive pressure, defensive pressure that's counteracting that push coming in from his squad. So he's gonna possibly be able to be revived. It didn't look like the team had any interest in pressing towards him on that Evo shield, trying to get him on that knockdown shield, but it seemed that they're gonna continue to press back while his team might be able to get the revive. 19 squads do remain. We did see somebody get eliminated early, possibly ending their run. It might not have been Xset or CRG. I'm pretty sure we'll see their names pop up again. We would have no doubt gotten to an extreme fight if we've got to see them get into it. But Team Yes now sitting very comfortably, already getting some nice builds and farming up those armors as well. You see now they're sitting on the blue armor at least. So a nice little exchange won't fully knock them. They will be able to play a little bit, test the fire, see what's going on, but they will not want to take any extended fights quite yet. Want to get a little bit of that damage racked up, possibly get some natural evolutions.
LED Clan has good eyes on potential situations that are transpiring there. And we can see Ranked is harder, taking some long range hits there via bow.
The Bosic bow just absolutely devastating from long range.
Potentially picking up some clean hits there. We have 18 squads left, so the death has begun. The Gibraltar are popping off of there. Keeps that roof clear right below the dome. Gibby and all his pals are safe, but U.S. Army Academy has eyes on it. As soon as that barrier drops, a lot of damage coming through immediately.
There are teams from all sides watching that fight go down. They saw the Gibraltar ultimate in the bubble. They're waiting for it to drop so they can start the 3rd, 4th, 5th party. It's an entire fiesta going on as we see the Ranked is Harder squad try to hold down this bastion of hope, trying to fish out some opportunities with the Bosic bow, but not able to find anything. A lot of teams looking at this hot spot right now. We might see some teams start to disengage, start to head to somewhere a bit more safe or get some loot that is being ignored while all this fight and attention is being brought to this building here. But in general, just a crazy exchange and a very heated hot spot starting to form around this building. Yep, we're seeing now the transition, the rotation away as people know there's a lot of eyes here. I'm not trying to get flanked, sideswiped on my way out.
Exactly. I saw what happened to that last T. Oh my God, Josh Gann's getting invaded here. I'm not even sure what happened. The door opened, bullets rang out, and everything was flames. And now here we are. Looking at Dark Matter White. LN Demons, I believe, was a perpetrator of that particular crime. And here we are with them capable of having a moment of pause after cleaning up their loot here, taking that Wraith Rift on out of there. Meanwhile, Dark Matter White trying to hit a couple of shots from deep, not going to get them. That team's already bailed on out of there. Swerve bailing out as well and trying to cover from behind. any potential approach. We see the Gibraltar once again calling attention to a pivotal spot here.
So many exchanges we see coming out here. A lot of kill pressure coming out, but not a lot of kills. We're seeing still 45 contestants remaining in this bout. 15 squads still in the running. A few incomplete squads, but in general, a lot of complete squads. A very risky rotation that's getting called out here by the LN Demons, who have been very quick on the trigger. You see they're starting to rack up the damage, starting to rack up a lot of this natural evolution. Slap dressing, just 78 damage away from getting a bit more use out of that shield. Starting to get a lot more pressure on that Gibraltar when you can get a lot more of that big-bodied boy behind you in armored shell energy.
Getting some prep work done here. Swerve coiled like a serpent, ready to strike. LN Demons in a similar spot here, peeking out, sees the Gibraltar bubble burst from deep, getting themselves not ready for the straightforward advance, but retreating a bit, pulling back, recognizing that there could be a lot of altercation between there and themselves, and also not knowing which direction that team is headed. They'll be retreating to safe range, or not, because Swerve apparently has eyes on somebody, taking shots from deep with the wingman there.
Swerve hunting out with that wingman, and also with this sentinel, and get some nice shots, but still the iron sights. That's the one downfall. We did see it be used to great efficacy even without the upgrade of that sights, but it is a lot more difficult. This game is one of the most punishing BRs of just raw sights. They really make it difficult, especially when you're using those ranged weapons, because they can be very devastating when you get good mastery on them. They have to curb some of that strength by making those iron sights just that much more difficult to deal with. But we have seen people look past that con and find a strong pro and get some really cheeky, just locked in shots that make the rifle look honestly point and click.
It is wild to see in action. They make it look easy, truly, but trust me, it is not. We are seeing great levels of skill on display from all of these teams. Ranked is harder at a distance there. Watching tail end of that zip line, seeing those competitors come over the hill. Sabara gonna get a little bit of distance here. Gibraltar is taking a few too many pot shots, trying to peek over that edge. Meanwhile, Elevate GG gets the opportunity to move ahead bit by bit, going from cover to cover. They've got a successful advance on their hands. But they're still on the low ground, still have to be precautious about not having great visibility on who might be coming down on there from above.
There are still 15 squads, so there are 14 people looking for you to be aggressive, looking to catch you out of rotation, and looking to get placement into tomorrow's bout between the top 20 teams, the top 10 teams, at least from this group. So you have to make this your final stand. This has to be the defining game that sets your tone for you to go back tonight and sit at home in your hotel, to sit at home and relax, think about what's going on, and recoup that mental, knowing that what we do works, and what we can do tomorrow will work if we know our strengths. So it's going to be very important for these teams to have a strong showing here with 15 squads left and those circles starting to tick down. It's going to start to get very explosive here in the mid game.
Das trying to take the game far there, knowing where their opponents are. Once again, that vision is key. Exit, getting successful eyes on. Gibraltar goes up, perfect cover for the Octane to dive in. He's in close proximity. They've got the rooftop. They know there are enemies beneath them, but they can also see folks coming in from the canyon up top. Getting some suppressive fire out allows them to keep their advance well covered, get behind to cover themselves. They once again have the vision necessary. They are in hot territory, but Exit is handling it from all directions. They are waging a war on multiple fronts and doing everything right.
Exit are trying to farm some Evo evolutions. They want to get these armor plates leveled up. They did not have the best success, obviously, in the loot, as we see a few blue armors, which is not very characteristic for them at this point in the game. We already are seeing that second circle start to become an issue as it's going to be collapsing very shortly. We see now how the hotspot has become more than that. It's becoming the drop shot and all types of things. We see the team eliminated CHR going to pick up a nice little bout here in the ravine of this little cave here, but see that they're going to get the full charge on the bat, try to come in on these items here, get a nice reposition. They see who is around. They have the highlight on those character models, so they're going to be able to freely loot what they see in front of them. Nice exchange there from CHR, showing how deadly they are, even in what could be seen as a disadvantageous situation.
CHR,
Spotted someone out there.
you've seen do some pretty phenomenal things here. Getting clipped on the way down. In the middle of me praising them. They managed to catch a little bit of chip on the shoulder, but they are not in a bad situation yet. They are pinned behind a cover there, but at least they have the cover. At least they have the opportunity to keep the close eye out, not lose too much shield even, or deciding to retreat. Let things cool down a bit. Farm Boys looking to make sure they have a better showing here than earlier, but LND Clan is coming back at him again. That's a lot of shots just going, I'm not sure where on that one, but as he hits the ground, he gets a couple off. The Pathfinder on the ground for LND Clan, trying to help clean things up.
LND Clan on the ropes here, and then I think we see it right there, the elimination coming through. Oh no, Pub the bot still finding solace, still finding an opportunity to get that shield bat off, gets the full charge on the shield. Of course, there is going to be quite the mountain to climb with two of your teammates down, but they are still recoverable. He is now fully charged and going to be able to have that big body boy see another day.
Team FMS up next here on our viewpoint, with LND Clan surviving and looking for their next chance to strike. It looks like these two are going to be clashing sometime soon with 11 squads left. This is going to be a wild encounter. We see a couple of good hits going through there.
Team FMS having the run start to mature that they needed. They needed to get enough points to get onto the top 10 for tomorrow.
Oh, no.
And you see that they are doing well, but now their back is against the wall. They are getting rushed in on. They see they get the heal. Everybody is going to start leveling out. They are just relaxing now. Everybody's going to be good. We'll see what happens as the game goes on, though. Maybe they weren't the team just getting rushed on. Maybe it was a quick change by the spectator, but it seemed like they were starting to get pushed on there. Dent Heads, on the other hand, are going to seem to be in a bit more of a pickle, getting some fire rained down on them by Ranked is Harder, who also is having a nice deep run as opposed to their previous showing so far today.
Meanwhile, if you noticed there for a minute, we got to see Xset, and they're down a member at the moment, working on getting that recovery to come through, but potentially vulnerable for the time being. We can see that they can bleed, clearly. There can be success against this team, but they're not quite down and out yet, and with everybody else engrossed in their battles, they might have the opportunity to recoup, or this might be the moment someone else needs to cut down Xset and give themselves the possibility to pick up some much-needed points in trying to secure those positions. Remember, Xset is, like the name says, they are set at this point. We're really debating who is going to be going along to our second day with them.
Beautiful skirmishes coming out all over the map on this game. We see Team FMS, we see Ranked is Harder, pulling out really nice clutch opportunities. And if someone like CRHR or somebody like the leaders of the bracket right now do fall, we will see somebody like them get first, and it begins to break up that bracket, that middle ground that was so close in the margins, and really get breaking up by seeing somebody else get first that's been at the bottom for so long.
Ranked is Harder here, looking down. Keep a close eye on all things. They've got vision yet again. Good looks all around. Trying to make sure they don't get approached from behind there. When is the right time to take that dive? I can't say for certain myself. Swerve indoors and well protected as one can be in moments like these. We see the Kabby Bubble coming No, I am sorry. That was the storm, actually. Thought we were seeing people get popped outside, but instead that's just getting put into closer and closer quarters here as the ring continues to close in and prepares to close in again. We are getting down to the thickest. And once again, we see even more team members than last time here in our final few moments. Now down to 8 squads. You see 2 vanish as quickly as that sentence took me, Austin.
Swerve have such a great defensive pigeon on this inner circle. They know where circle 6 or circle 5 is popping. They know where circle 6 is popping. They're sitting on the center. They have the scouting information. They're gonna hold this down very tough. They know what's going on, and they're right there, like you said, just going out with the absolute guns a-blazing, kicking down the door, saying, "What's going on with you?"
This is going to be a crazy fight. A few moments here. The clock is ticking down on that ring closure. There's 8 whole squads still out there. And I don't know what this is going to look like. One of them ranked is harder. Posted up in this house, looking up at another house. Can see that door open and close, but doesn't quite have the angle without getting into territory that's way too dangerous to stick your head into. Meanwhile, down south, they're still looking behind them, and another team that's going to have to bail the minute that circle moves again. And that's 30 seconds from now. We are very, very soon going to be seeing the storm. This is the calm, and the storm is right around the corner, both literally and metaphorically speaking.
Literally, metaphorically, transitively, all the ways it can be, the storm will be approaching. And there are 8 squads left, 24 combatants. This is going to be a true test of your gunfight capabilities, because when you're sitting there in a no matter what third-party situation, you're going to be having to look at multiple fronts, making sure that your target focus is locked in, making sure those comms are very open and clear. You don't want to be saying extra words, speaking in the way that is most effective for your team to be able to know. And we're going to start seeing those gunfights coming out now.
Now, long toss from afar on that nade. Trying to get not even some damage, it looks like, just trying to secure off an area. Suppressive fire via grenade. They dive in, he's gonna go into hot territory. Someone waiting beneath the house for him. Oh God, he's under the floorboards.
It's hot under here. I'm in the water, but it's hot.
The telltale shots ring out. Elevate GG. Posted up here, getting some excellent hits from, again, below the house. The angles that we are seeing be hit right now are phenomenal. 7 squads still left. He's only lost 1 squad in all that somehow.
I praise that jump pad so much, though, because if it turned into the conversion that they had in their 5 head, it would have been one of the most highlightable clips of this entire tournament. So very valiant effort.
Respect the play.
But unfortunately is met with a rank 1 killer sitting at the other side. Barrels aimed exactly at you and take a shot that thwarts any dreams you might have had. Really, really clean defensive and counterplay coming in there. And we're seeing exactly that explosion we thought. Already 4 people dropping as the 4th circle finishes. And now we see the 5th circle start to show. It's going to be very contested as there's still 20 people. They have a lot of armor and ammo lined up, but as you turtle and as you check people at the door, that begins to run low and there's no more loot. There's nowhere you're going to be able to start pooling ammo from. The people that are killing you and you're killing also are low on ammo because they've been doing the same turtling methods that you have. So it becomes this very sluggish experience. Whoever's able to reserve the resources the most, possibly the turtles who have lasted this long. Exet was able to revive their teammate if you were curious about that. They did sit now with the 3 members that they were sitting with previously. So even down a member showing their resilience, they still might be able to run that 3-peat of a Battle Royale victory champion that they've been able to do.
This is going to be Wakan Sleep here in a real bad spot. Oh God, absolutely pinned down. The Gibraltar bubble is keeping them alive, but how long is it gonna help? They are being aggressed from all sides here, trying to bail out heavy. That Octane is out of here. Oh my God, Farm Boys have managed to survive here into the final 7. We're still at 7. How much have we been commentating? And we're still at 7. How are you all alive? What bullets are you using right now? Farm Boys shooting up top, trying to hit somebody on the house. Above them, we'll also keep an eye on the edges of that storm. For anyone trying to come through, I'm losing it. I'm coming undone.
Come undone as you may, Caleb. We still have plenty of Apex to come. Now 6 squads remaining. Now 5 squads remaining. We're seeing the bodies hit the floor as more and more of this space that is going to be able to be used is closed up. We see the Gibraltar bubble come up. We see a bit more of these defensive opportunities coming up. Farm Boys now in the final 4 of this run. They're feeling great. They're feeling comfortable. Except lying in wait somewhere on the map. No doubt coming to reign in terror. Farm Boys starting to eat a lot of damage, but just like that, able to get the elimination. 3 squads left, 2 squads left. We have Farm Boys. We have an unknown foe lying in wait to take them out. What is going on, Caleb?
7 hostiles detected in the final few moments. We have Den Heads. Keep your eye out there, ready for a fight with Farm Boys. 2 squad left is Den Head and Farm Boys. Exit nowhere to be seen. Exit is out of here.
Exit is eliminated. 3 versus 3, 2 squads left. There is going to be nothing but angst coming out of this exchange because they have not gotten this far yet today, but they must take the breath. They must center. They have to think. We sat here now eliminating some great foes that have had dominant runs in all of the battle royales that have been going on thus far. What is our play? How do we win? What is our strength?
So I'll take a moment to be calm. Let's not get out of hand like certain commentators I know as we get Farm Boys taking a look out over Den Heads coming up across the hillside here. All our competitors out there getting as composed as possible. For me and Aussie Champ over here, that's not going to happen. But for our competitors out there somehow, despite being in hot water, Farm Boys has to keep it cool and be ready because once the pin drops, everything happens. This is truly do or die. Vision all around. We see everything.
I don't think we've had a moment where we've gotten to a final circle like this where it's just been 2 squads fully geared, fully ready, just able to go against each other in a straight 1v1 mano y mano. You versus me. Who wants this more? Who wants to get the higher seeding for tomorrow as we go into the best 20? No matter what, these teams will be progressing.
Absolutely. We are seeing some phenomenal work and props to them for the bubbles are out. No one wants to leave their safe zone there, but diving for it, they will have to. That looks like Jimmy nearly down. He's taking a lot of heat, certainly nowhere to retreat to. A couple of shots missing. He's dancing on him, but it's going to be Denteds successfully placing enough shots in the exchange. Farm Boys gets a little bit too slippery with the slide, puts a little bit too much 2 in the 2-step, and takes too much damage there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, it just goes to show you get foot loose, you might foot loose. I'm sorry, after I said it, I realized how bad it was, but still here we are in our final moments, well aware of how wild that last game was, and unable to think of anything else but the fact that it's only a precursor to tomorrow. This is the setup. This is the establishing. This is how we've set the field for who even gets to take a shot at that first place money. But again, that's $3 grand. And certainly we are getting $3 grand worth of Apex performance just thus far.
Absolutely. The entertainment and the hype that has come out from the bout so far cannot go without mentioning. I was literally screaming last round. So much crazy gunfights, so many amazing plays coming out from these squads here in Group 2. We saw the full extent of an Apex Legends Battle Royale. These squads had used their comps effectively. We saw Swerve pull down amazing defenses to get a very deep run. One of your favorite moments was they're kicking down the door, just like a straight Tarantino movie. But then Swerve made the unfortunate mistake of taking the heroic film-like launch pad that led to their deaths. Were unfortunately eliminated. We saw Farm Boys and Dent Heads go the distance though. Farm Boys got a little trigger happy though. The Gibraltar took a little bit too much heat in the pocket. You saw him try to approach. They said, stay down. You're in my shield. I dictate what you're gonna do. And they made sure to get that champion screen for themselves. Dent Heads. Wow. What a game.
My God. And look at them sailing up into 4th. Look those 2 top spaces we knew were taken there remain taken, but I mean, tell them about the field, man.
Yeah, Xset in CHR. We knew they were going to be dominant, holding the first and second place. But what happened after that was a toss-up. Elevate GG did hold down third. They were doing their thing. They were already holding down that previously. Dentheads and Team FMS, Farm Boys, the new contenders in the middle of the pack, all sitting in somewhat of similar points, but you see how it's now got the distance. You see how we have a bit more of these distances between the points. And honestly, based off performance, Farm Boys did have a bit of a better performance than Team FMS on the last bout, but Team FMS were dominant, more consistent through all 3 games. Farm Boys did not have that same consistency. LN Demons rounds out 7th place. Glock 9 and Bamboozled, as always, are going to be tied for 7th going into tomorrow. And Dark Matter White, the last team to qualify. Great showings from all these teams, and it's unfortunate for the teams that didn't qualify, but they have to realize that they were playing in stakes and against competition that were raring to go, and honestly just playing top form Apex.
It was an incredible day of gaming, folks. I am so happy to have been here to watch this all go down. I'm so happy for all of you in chat that also watched it with us, because this is something that deserves to have eyes on it. It has been a wild and crazy ride, and they're all sailing towards some big money in our second day. So make sure that you are here for that, because trust me, our second day of gaming, where we see the culmination of all of this, where we see our standing of Olympians go head-to-head, toe-to-toe, and this is going to be wild. You cannot miss out on seeing teams like Xset, on seeing teams like CHR thrown together into the arena. The gladiators at work. How many sports metaphors do you need? Be here, please.
Absolutely, and we're going to kick off with that action tomorrow, 11 a.m. PDT, Pacific Daylight Time, so do not miss it. Caleb will be here. Austin Champ will be here. The hype will be here. We have 6 games between these top 20 contenders of the 40 we've seen today. We are in for an amazing bout of Apex. You do not want to miss it. Thank you so much for tuning into the Trovo Titans $10,000 closed invitational. We'll see you very soon.